Me and everyone on Twitch say hello. Look at that. It's time for the end of year AMA, where you get to ask me whatever the hell you want. Although, I might not necessarily answer all of the things, but I'll answer as much as I truly can. Hello, lovely darlings. A little summary of the year. This is a really interesting year for me because almost all of my work time was spent doing game development, super top secret game development, instead of streaming. I've probably reduced my streaming hours by 75%. I'm going all in, baby. As a kind of a silly thing to say after I've just described that I still do stream. I'm very clearly not all in, otherwise you wouldn't see from me ever again. But the fact of the matter is, I love streaming, so definitely going to keep doing that no matter what. But I've had, honestly, a pretty great year in a number of ways. It's really fun to do development stuff. Still get to stream, which is lovely. I've also been getting up at 6 a.m. this year and going to the gym a lot. So, not really focusing too hard on weight loss, just rather habitizing weightlifting and trying to lift more weights. And if I may shamelessly say, super shameless, but that's okay. It's weird to say that you're being shameless when there's an entire stream that has your name up in the corner that's all about you, and you're hosting a show where you're going, ask me things because you want to know. Of course I am a monument to vanity, but here we go. Listen. My booty has actually grown this year. And you want to know how I knew? Because I clipped my ass on a doorknob about 4 months ago, and I was like, whoops. I didn't realize that was a consequence of my actions. And it hurt, and I was like, honey, come here. I hit my butt because it actually goes out that far. It's a cool feeling. Restarted says, well, that was my AMA question, so now what? Well, don't worry, you have plenty of time, because I'm going to be here for the next 3 hours. Let me just adjust this camera up a little bit. I could see that it was lopsided. And as a lopsided person, I would never want to give you lopsided answers. So let's go ahead and squeeze down this foot. Ah, perfect. So, this last year, been doing a lot of getting up early, trying to be a responsible, diligent worker, streaming in the evenings, and honestly living a kind of simple life outside of that, where we enjoy watching lots of TV. We're currently going through all 10, 12, 13, 14 seasons of Vanderpump Rules. That's been a year-long commitment because there's a lot of episodes. And next year, my big goal is to go even harder on game dev stuff and to try to actually begin trying to cook more varied recipes, because I'm the kind of person that can eat like the same meal 10 days in a row, and I'm like, this is great, let's eat it on day 11. Trying to branch out to other things and also try to do a little bit more actual weight loss focus. We'll see if I achieve that. I don't particularly mind being at any weight. And then Muffin says, let him cook. So I'm looking forward to 2026. 2025 was awesome, and in 2026, I turned 40. Mwah. A dream come true. So, I would be delighted to start soliciting all of these lovely human beings in chat for various questions. Let me go ahead and tuck this away so we can maximize. Okay. All right, Twitch wants that to stay there forever. That's totally fine. There's also, in the Discord, on the Day 9 TV Discord, there is a channel for the AMA. So if any of you want to post there, you can, but I'd recommend posting your question here. If you've posted in that channel, that's largely for the people that were unable to be here live, because I like to engage with the live folk, right? Kind of makes a little more sense. Booby184 says, Day 9, without giving away anything concrete at all about the game you're working on, how are you feeling about it? You know, I think that the best way to describe how I feel is similar to whenever I was practicing for a StarCraft tournament. Because the weird thing about practicing for a tournament is you are not training against your opponent. You're imagining what your opponent could do, and then you're trying to practice against that, and when you start feeling good against this thing, you then go, cool. Oh God, what's another thing that they might do? And then you invent this whole problem that you can solve. So I feel like a weird part of the competitive experience for me is like coming up with disastrous scenarios. I mean, maybe that's a little bit of an over dramatization, but it's really just going, oh God, What's the worst that could happen? Literally, and let's try to prepare against it. And so, with 100% of tournaments that I have literally won, I remember exiting the final match where you've won. There's nothing else to do. First place, there you go. And I just would think, oh, thank God, because there's a lot of stuff that I felt like I was out of practice against, or that I didn't have time to practice against, or I felt like my answer to this strategy wasn't good enough. And so there's that side of me that is constantly trying to think of things going wrong, or maybe more appropriately, what can I improve? What can I do better? What can be made more awesome? Okay, it's the awesomest it's ever been. How do I make it even more awesome? I'm always trying to do this with all aspects of myself. And also, I have boundless enthusiasm. I almost prefer when there are things that are going wrong or things that are problems that need solving. I find that really engaging and really thrilling and really delightful. And so I would say I'm full of boundless, endless delight. It's going great. It's getting better than it's ever been week by week by week. But at the same time, my brain is and will, no matter what, constantly be going, okay, but what could be going wrong? How do we come up with a potential test to verify if that's an issue or not? And if it is, what would be the solutions to improve that? And blah, 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 blah. So that is effectively how it's going. I'd say it's going great. That's what, objectively, I would have to say that. But I think, I don't know. I can't get away from that StarCraft metaphor because it perfectly captures how it feels emotionally. Like I remember there was, when I was training for a tournament, I was practicing against a specific type of early game rush called a bunker rush. And on the maps in this WCG map pool, bunker rushes were really scary. And so I was practicing again and again and again and again and again and again and again against bunker rushes. And it was at the point where I looked forward to my opponents potentially bunker rushing because then I knew I had a good answer. All right, what if your opponent doesn't bunker rush? Shit, we better have a good answer to that. Like, this is how it's going, right? Sean, how was your practice session this last week? It was amazing. I now feel great against bunker rushes, but there's more work to do. You know what I mean? And I mean, partly also that's the point. I don't think anyone should pursue game development unless you really like constantly doing more and more and more and more and more, which for some people is exhausting, but for me is fulfilling and kick-ass. Rice Bites, thank you for the gifted 12 subs. And oh, it means JP is in the chat. Let's go, JP. Woo! Hell yeah. Oh my God, we got some familiar faces in here. I think I saw Up a Tree in there for a moment. So let me just adjust this. Perfect. Forgive me. All right, Jules, let's see. Day 9, happy end of year. Hope all has been well at the game studio. I'll be there day 1 as soon as an announcement is made, which I'm cleverly not doing. And if you want to ask me about that, this is a good venue. Says, maybe I should wait until day 9. Don't! We'll go bankrupt in 8 days unless you purchase on day 1, Jules. A friend of mine has posed this question across our friend group. I'm curious about your answer. If you were about to be executed, and instead of a last meal, you were offered one final bite, what would that bite be? It would be one bite of a larger meal, but you can only have one bite. Only one bite. One bite? If I could only have one bite, what would it be? You know, my first answer was like, I just have a sip of water, and I'd be like, I'm good, take me out. I'd be like, whatever, it's fine. You know, if I'm at the point where I only get one more bite, listen, I've eaten a lot of good food. I'm good. I'll just have some water and then go out. You know, love a good glass of water. Delicious. But I think that if there is a single bite that is delicious, I would say a Chipotle chicken burrito with black beans, spinach, sour cream cheese, guacamole, mild tomato salsa, with some smoked Tabasco hot sauce on top. That is pretty consistently an amazing bite of food for me. And there's been a number of times when I've been having a hard time and I went, screw it, I'm going to go get a Chipotle burrito. Man, that just made it. It made me feel like things were going to be okay, man. You did call it. You did say burrito. It's right up here. I saw, yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. All right, let's see here. Oh, dude, we got Sal in here. We got Joey in here. Oh, my God, it's only celebrities. Only celebrities. All of you. Oh, my God, and Ravi, look at this. So, let's see here. Oh, my God, this is so cute. New Sunshine says, Day 9, so I have some exciting news. Rhetorical Meow and I met in your chat community. Today is our 9-year anniversary. And I proposed, and they said, yes, I'm so excited to be married. It's going to be amazing. Just want you to know it's your fault. Love you, Sean. Love you, Meow. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's so sweet. Oh, my God. I love that so. Oh. Dude, let me tell you, being married rules. Because you get to say my wife or my husband, like, or my spouse when you don't need to. When I first got married to Britt, like I would order food. I'd be on the phone and be like, yeah, I would like to order a sandwich. And my wife would also like the sandwich. I was just saying my wife all the time. Still love doing it. And it's great. It's so good. I always hated and never understood the meme of like, oh, the old ball and chain. Oh, well, I had to make up an excuse so I could get away from my wife and spend some time with the boys without all this nagging. Like, I remember watching that as a kid and being like, what are these people doing? That can't possibly be what it's like. And I've been with Britt for almost 15 years, and yeah, it's not like that. I'm like really excited for when this is done because I'm going to hang out with Britt. And when my work week is finished on Friday evening, oh, let me tell you something. I have a slated set of media consumption that I'm going to politely request that my wife just watches through with me. I frame it like that because we already talked about it. I didn't want to be like, I'm going to demand that she does this. And she doesn't know. She has no idea what's coming. But yeah, that's going to be freaking awesome. Yeah, no, I just never quite understood the like, my wife is the worst ever. No, it's going to be awesome, New Sunshine. You're going to love it. It's going to be so good. So good. Venarian says, your Blueprint streams were a great escape from a recent loss. Always enjoy the positive outlooks. Enjoy your holidays, Sean. Thanks, Venarian. And dude, I really relate to that. There's been a number of times where I've had difficult life events, or I'm just feeling sort of like a depression for sometimes a period of few weeks, months. And in those moments where I just like trying to summon the ability to resist that sort of downward spiral, I don't even have that. And I just plop myself on my comfy chair and put on some delightful YouTuber or Twitch stream. And it's just so nice to have that company because the company is just coming out of the TV at me. And I just get to like sit there and be like, this is nice. I don't have to do anything. And I find it really lovely. I find it really, 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 really lovely. So I'm thrilled, Venarian, that we got to be a little nice reprieve from the stress you were going through. And if you're ever having it, we're here for you. I'm going to pull back up here because I see Ravi asking this. Oh, yeah. Dear Day 9, happy surviving another year. Thank you. How long do you think it'll take up a tree to get B rank in Brood War? Current data point is he is bouncing between E and D after 2 months of playing. That's actually pretty good. I mean, like, just being able to maintain D rank is insanely difficult in StarCraft. I think that the big thing in my eyes that StarCraft 1 is that it is a management game first and a strategy game second. And I think that if anyone who sits down to play Brood War goes, okay, I am going to just work on the mechanics of managing a base, managing an army, clicking around, you can probably hit B in a year. I would even say if you want to be really hardcore, just spend 3 months doing build orders again and 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 again in 1v0 with no opponents. And like, yeah, at some point, you will transition away from, man, when do I actually get to start playing the real strategy game? And you'll transition into, oh my God, my hands feel so good. My brain feels so pure. Dude, you know how when Sonic the Hedgehog is running and he runs into spikes? And as a kid, you're like, ah, no, I'm not going fast anymore. But then you learn the level well enough to just run through the whole thing, never hitting spikes. That feeling is just a taste of how amazing it feels to perfectly be managing all your expansions and getting all your workers in the right place and not missing any supply depots. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Man, I love Brood War so freaking much. Now, I have a question. I'm going to take one from my phone. This is from Poppy, who says, what was your favorite culinary experience you had this year? I think favorite culinary experience. What was my favorite culinary experience? I'm now like sorting through all the restaurants I went to in my head. Favorite culinary experience. Because, like, okay. You caught me. Yeah, I'm going to be like, I went to this Chipotle and I ordered a burrito and I bit into it. And I was like, I only like one thing. So for me to narrow this down, I'm going to remove home-cooked meals. Because my brain is trying to bring up, like, all these sick, amazing meals that Britt made. One of my friends made me an amazing meal as well. I'm going to skip past those and try to think of culinary experience. Okay, so there's this place called Matia that's on Orcas Island. Orcas Island is this island that's off the coast of Seattle in the Sound, where there's a whole bunch of little islands that poke up just west of Seattle. And, dude, this place, Matia, going there, like, it's one of those tasting menu places. Like, they have, like, a regular menu, but this tasting menu, I'm trying to remember, it was, like, all local ingredients, and there were things that were just... If you've ever gone to one of those fancy meals, I try to go to, like, one a year. You know, it's like very expensive. It's like $400 for a meal. But, like, if you save up for it and you like doing it, I cannot recommend this enough. Because, like, they have, like, a little bit of wine with every single course, and there's, like, 10 courses in there. And, oh my God, this place was so good. First of all, the wines were... They were not sort of your standard rote wines. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm not like a wine person. I don't really drink wines, but I've had a lot of people be like, oh, to taste this Cabernet, and look how different it tastes from this Cabernet. And my unrefined palate is just like, it tastes like red wine. I have no idea. But at this place, like, every single wine had an incredibly distinct flavor. You can already see how uncultured I am because I don't know how to describe food so well. I don't have the language. But man, there was like this, it was like a spicy cantaloupe soup with fennel, just like weird flavor combinations. There was this like little tomato, like a small tomato that was like the best tomato I've ever put in my mouth. It was unbelievable. And in those tasting menus, they just keep bringing out course after course after course, and they kind of tell you what it is. And after the entire meal was done, the head chef told me that he also played Magic the Gathering, which is like, I just love the idea this head chef is like making these insanely delicious, unusual tasting menus, and then like going home and, I don't know, maybe losing to Red Deck Wins the same way I do. Oh man, that was awesome, because I think that I love so much whenever like dining out has that experience aspect to it. You know, just like a really lovely ambiance, and like there's a nice arc to the food and so on and so forth. What does this restaurant have to go there with my wife? Yeah, dude, let me tell you, Ardlagavroig It's Matia. Matia is the name of it. Killer experience. Killer experience. Baron says, will we ever get Tasteless versus Day 9 in Warcraft 3? Okay, Baron. Baron, I have an answer to this one. Because I talked to my brother about this. My brother and I have spent a lifetime of people wanting us to fight against each other. And like, we don't like that, you know? Because like growing up, my brother and I would practice a lot of StarCraft with each other. And like, it was one of the main things that we talked about, that we bonded over. Hey, look at this great game I played. And I could just go to my brother who's like 4 feet over there on his computer, be like, dude, come over here, look at this sick play. He's, oh, that's so awesome. Like, Barrett says, I asked that question last year. Yes, every AMA will be a copy paste. In fact, I'll just have Ed edit 2025 up here and just cross out 2024 and just do the same answers. But yeah, no, it was really nice having a brother that you can just talk to about StarCraft and bond with. And then there's this sort of weird, like, oh, you guys both play StarCraft? Who's better? And Nick and I never really liked those kinds of things. And we've talked about that a number of times. I think that, like, one of the things that, in a general sense, makes doing content with my brother difficult is that he's 16 hours ahead in South Korea. So that's just, like, an ungodly, annoying time to try to find an overlap. But, I mean, even if we were in the same time zone, I'd rather do something collaboratively than competitively. Like, do 2v2s with my brother. That would be more what I would be in the mood for. All right. Hit me with it. All right, let me just double check this. All right. Let's see here. I'm Legend97 says, will you ever go back to finish Shadow of the Erd Tree? I need more brick with a stick. I'm unsure. I'm unsure. I am unfrickin' sure. Because, like, next year is going to be the year of RTS. As in, I'm going to be streaming a ton of RTS games. I'm going to make that kind of one of the main things in the rotation. Because I have limited time to stream, and I want to... Gosh, I played RTS games for a good 6 weeks on air, and it was really fun, and I felt like there were 100 games that I didn't even get to touch. And so, like, that is the thing that my brain is focusing on. And Shadow of the Erd Tree is the kind of game where I really need to set aside like 30 to 40 hours per week to stream that game. Like, that's like when I played Elden Ring, I was doing like 25 hours of Elden Ring per week to be able to like make steady progress for this massive game. Like right now, I'm only streaming like 2.5, 3 hours 3 times a week. And it's just really hard to do something that is that enormous. So I would love to do it at some point. Maybe when I'm not going so hard on game deving. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a month off game deving, and then I'm going to stream Shadow of the Erd Tree for 10 hours a day. Maybe that sounds pretty good. Maybe that sounds pretty good.
Oh, are you having a meeting? Sorry.
Wait, oh my God, wait, hold on. I'm live. Oh my God, I accidentally was just staying in a Discord channel. Shit. Oh, fuck. That's so funny. Sean, are you in a meeting? No, I'm actually going to text my friend. Hey, you just went out on air. Whoops. LeMayo. Just heard. So I don't know if you've ever done this. Where, like, I use Discord as my main form of communication. Like, I use it to chat to my buddies. I use it for, like, all my social groups. I even have a Discord with my wife that's like the family Discord and this sort of thing. And, like, all the time I'm in a channel, and I don't know I'm in a channel. Does this ever happen to you? Like, constantly, all the time. And that It's funny to think that I've just been like broadcasting into that channel for like so long. Oh, that's so good. Okay, what was the question that we were answering? What were we talking about? Jules says I fall asleep in voice channels a lot. Yeah, yeah, totally. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. The channel was "Are you in a meeting?" because I do a lot of meetings in Google Meets, and then I just like stay in Discord. So, if anyone ever joins in one of my personal Discords and hears me, they're just like belting about stuff. They just assume I'm in some other call, some other meeting. Just happen to be going out live. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, that was the question. That was the question. And Raunchy, I am in a meeting. I'm in an AMA right now. I'm in an AMA. All right. I'm going to come all the way back here. The first time chatter, here it is. Magnifico says, Day 9, I've been admiring you since the Day 9 100 a long time ago. Very long now. How dare you? I was sad to see you go subscriber mode on Twitch for a long time. I'm going to come back to this. It kind of fell off, but watching you now, you are still so positive, great quality of life. Hoping you and your brother are doing fine. Such a lovely duo. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Excuse me. It's kind of funny, the subscriber mode thing. Back in the early days of streaming, there was, God, how do you put this? There was no moderation structure, like, at all. When I say moderation structure, they were like moderating tools. You could like ban people, stuff like this. But I mean, there were no nice bells and whistles. Like if any of you try to post a link in chat, it gets blocked because that's a setting that you can turn on. If any of you say something wildly offensive, it gets automatically held so a mod can review it and either block it or allow it in. None of that stuff existed. So it was kind of an interesting problem. Do you let anyone who wants to come in say anything? There were also plenty of scams and virus links. Oh, it was such a nightmare. And so we just did the simplest thing possible, which was like, all right, we're turning on sub mode. And I think there was a huge downside of that. Where, yeah, Magnifico, if you're watching Raynad streams, yeah. Oh my God. See, like that, right? We have the nice tool to like clean it up. It was kind of unfortunate because I think that it shut out a lot of just very, very normal, reasonable people. But because there's a small subsegment that can't be trusted, it was great. It worked incredibly well. But anyways. All right. I'm ready for the next inquiry. I'm ready. I'm not going to scroll back up. If you want to ask again, I encourage you to paste again. Sometimes I will go back up. Let's see here. Darth Morgana says, hey, Day 9. Thanks for the advice yesterday. Interview went okay. We'll see. It just wrapped up and my brain wants to now pour out of my ear. Hell yeah, Darth Morgana. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my God, yes. I'm thrilled the interview went well. Ooh, Christmas 666 is what was the first set you played Magic the Gathering? I mean, it had to be alpha or beta or one of the early ones. I mean, it had to be. Like, I owned Moxes and thought they were bad and didn't include them in my list. Like, I didn't do any of that. Gosh. I mean, it's crazy. Let's see. So I was born in 1986. Here's how I do my math. When I graduated 12th grade, I was 17. So if I take my grade plus 5, I'll get my age. So I was in 3rd grade, so that means I was 8. So 1986 plus 8 would be 94. That was the first time that I played Magic cards. Was 1984. Or when I was in 1994. Goodness. That's crazy. So, yeah, it had to have been really early. And gosh, I just remember, it's funny, when I was that age, I did not understand the difference between flavor text and actual rules text. And I want to see if I can find this card. I think it was called like Crypt Mummy, Gatherer, MTG. All right, hold on, hold. Everybody hold. All right, so Crypt Mummy, is that what I said? Mummy. What's the oldest? Was it Cyclopean Mummy? Oh my god, this is it. This is the card. I found the card. Oh my god, I have it. It's like, okay, hold on everyone. You're going to get completely covered. No, you're not. Hold on. What did I do? I'm sorry, there appears to be a new feature where I've... Hold on, I gotta close this whole browser. Oh god, Chrome has some feature where it just put like two windows together in one window. Oh my god, it's a nightmare. Hold on. All right, so I need to open up my dashboard, and now I need to go back to Gatherer. This is a crisis. All right, type a card name. Cyclopean Mummy. There he is. There's my guy. All right, pull this out. And here's the guy. Look at this. Look at this card. It says, if Mummy is placed in the graveyard from play, remove it from the game. It's a 2-mana, 2/1. Yeah. And the flavor text says, the ritual of plucking out an eye to gain future sight is but a curse that enables the living to see their own deaths. Now imagine a third grader reading this first line of text and going, that's a rule. Then seeing the second line of text that's in italics and going, it's just another rule, huh? So I'm like trying to figure out, I remember reading this line of plucking out an eye and going, all right, let me get the main rules out and read about plucking out eyeballs. Let me try to figure out this shit. Like I was like so confused. But even though I did not understand how that card worked, or frankly, how any card at all worked, I didn't know how anything in the game functioned. Oh my god. I was completely entranced and played Magic on and off for a very, very, very long time. It was super, super sick. I love Magic the Gathering. I just still... man, I'm like trying to remember, like the first time I saw a gold bordered card, which meant that you needed 2 colors to cast it. I was just like, I'd like lost my mind, man. I thought it was the sickest thing ever. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta rewind because I think oh, here it is. Is this it? Yeah. Okay. Dana and my brother and I are both gamers. We enjoyed playing games together. I became a teacher. He became a game developer. I don't regret my job decision, but I got to admit, I'm very jealous of his current position. He's currently working on Out of Words, a stop-motion story-focused game from Denmark. That's so sick. We just had the trailer at the Game Awards. It's a bit like It Takes Two. Would you ever play a 2-player co-op game on stream? Cheers from Denmark. Let me see. Would I ever play a 2-player co-op game on stream? Basically just with my wife. Yeah. And if it comes out, let me know, because I've been playing a bunch of co-op games with Britt lately. Like, we played through Split Fiction, and Split Fiction is like one of the greatest games of all time. Oh my god. I love Split Fiction. I mean, I give it a hard 10 out of 10. I recommend it to everyone. Potato Elemental says the subtle advertisement. I mean, it's pretty easy to tell when someone is a genuine person who's asking out of genuineness versus someone who's like, hey, Day9, you're not going to believe this, but I was playing this really fun mobile game called Raid Shadow Legends, and I just happened to have an invite code for you, you know? And I'm like, get out of here. Yeah, no, I mean, like for instance, would anyone honestly say, all right, we just had our trailer at the Game Awards. Day9 is doing an end-of-year AMA that gets way lower viewership than his usual streams. Let's get in there and ask him if he would stream the game ever. Wink. You know, I think that this is just an earnest, thoughtful person curious about something you're excited about because one of their family members just had something big announced. You know. So many of you have posted questions that I still haven't even addressed. I would once again warmly invite you to copy paste again. Get your question, write out your question, Control C, and then wait till I'm done. Bam. Let's see here. All right. Oh, Leoning, I have not read Mistborn. I've actually been really bad on reading this year. It's one of the things that me and my wife want to start doing more. Just like going to a library or like a comic book shop or a bookstore or a coffee shop and just sitting down and reading for a few hours and make that regular. Dude, Oscar on the flip, are you familiar with what vintage cube is? Do you mean, do I watch Louise Scott Vargas on YouTube? And the answer is, oh, I watched a lot of LSV. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Cube, and I feel like I didn't get Cube for a long time. Because, like, with Cube, my brain, like, I don't know, I didn't quite understand it. Because for me, drafting in Magic was always set-based. Like, oh, let's learn how Return to Ravnica drafts. Let's learn how, what are recent draft sets? Oh my god. I don't know. M20. You know, all of these kinds of things, I thought it was fun to kind of solve this puzzle of how does this specific format work. But the idea of, oh, I'm only going to put in the most powerful cards, I didn't quite get it. But it feels like Cube is a way to make an unbelievably rich, deep draft that you can play a bunch of times. And there's tons of different styles and strategies that you can do. Sheriff! Come here, Sheriff. Oh, I hear her thick paws thumping along. Come here. Come here. You're about to become content. Hello, Sheriff. All right, we have the sweetest little cat of all time. Sus Opening says, Day 9, how has your perspective... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even finish. But I haven't played Vintage Cube because effectively all the streaming that I do, or all the gaming I do is on stream. Almost exclusively. Almost exclusively. But I love watching it because when I'm exhausted after a long day of having a wonderful life with my favorite kinds of work. Come here, sweetheart. That's when I like to sit down and watch Cube. Hell yeah, I love this. But Sus Opening says, how has your perspective on your relationship with yourself changed over the past year? My relationship with myself. Let me think about that. There's two things that come to mind. The first one is more positive, and the second one is a little dark. So we're going to leave that one for the second one. Isn't that right, Sheriff? Here, get in there. Yeah, you're going to talk about dark stuff. Isn't that nice? So first, I have been getting up at 6 a.m. for most of this year. And when I'm sleeping in till like 8. And I really like going to bed at like 9:30 and getting up at 6. Like, I did not think that that was me as a person, but I think that this has been sort of weirdly transformative to me because I think that, I don't know, a lot of times I feel like I would stay up late because I just hadn't quite gotten something satisfying out of the day. So I would just keep trying to squeeze that out of the internet in the middle of the night. You know, just like, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like another interesting YouTube video that I can watch to feel something. But I think for me, getting up at the crack of dawn, the first thing I do when I wake up is I go to the gym. And then I come back and instantly do game dev stuff. And I just find that I feel so excited to go to bed now, which is weird. It's really weird for me. Ow. All right. What are we thinking? What do you think? Yep, that's the water bottle. It's there every day, but it's the same. It's good that you investigated. It's up to code. So I think that that's one thing that's been really interesting to me is just to find that how much how much better days feel and how much happier I feel when I wake up early and do things that I really care about that are for me immediately. Immediately. I think the other one, the dark one. I've talked about this here and there, but here's the biggest internal emotional change. And I was talking about this a little bit at the end of the 2024 AMA as well, but when I was younger, I used to think that if I could just explain a concept well enough, I could get the other person to understand the same thing that I understand. This is the foundation of how communication in math works. You start with these givens, and then you do this step, and then this step, and then this step. And because each step can be disagreed with at no point, I can get to the same conclusion that you did. And it causes us to be forced to believe in and agree on the same thing. Like, here's a formula, and you're going to solve for x, you're going to divide both sides by 2 and subtract 10. That's like you start with the given, which is the equation, the subtracting and the dividing of each step. These are the things that you have to agree are true, which gets you the conclusion that x is 4 or whatever. This is how I communicate. And for many, many years, if I felt like someone wasn't getting something, and I don't just mean intellectually, like here is how to build a shed. Here's the instructions of how to do that. As you know, a deeply intellectual pursuit, building a shed. Let me rephrase this. There are objective things with explanations that you might think I'm specifically talking about, but this is also how I think about emotional things. Like, oh, this frustrates me. Sean, why would that frustrate you? If I can just come up with the right explanation, I can get you to appreciate why I'm frustrated. Or if you're struggling with something and I provide to you what is amazing advice, I dare say the solution to the problem. I used to think that if it was explained well enough, you could get someone to understand the same thing you do. And I just don't believe that anymore. And the phrase that I feel like I am, that is more foundational to my belief, is no one can be taught, but some people can learn. This is the best description of how I see the world now. No one can be taught anything, but some people can learn. If a teacher stands up and gives an amazing explanation, none of those people are going to get the knowledge imposed into them by the teacher. It has to be them pulling that information out into themselves. And I think that in some ways this has felt sad because there are, I've met people, for instance, who are like really struggling and frankly self-sabotaging. And, doesn't matter how many people say it to them, they can't hear it. And that's on them. And on one hand, I think it's sad, but I think on the other hand, it's like weirdly psychologically freeing for me in some ways, because it's like, I just don't think that person will get it. So I don't need to keep searching for the right explanation. I don't need to keep trying. It's up to them. Which, again, there is the flip side of that, which does hurt me sometimes. And I want to stress, it's not that they're hurting me. It's like I'm hurting because again, it's been so deeply ingrained in me, this idea of explaining things. This is how I got my whole career doing the Day 9 TV stuff, was like, if I can just explain the StarCraft strategy well enough, people will get it. And then I think back to Newbie Tuesday, which at one point I just went, I'm not doing this Newbie Tuesday anymore. Because the fundamental thing that newbies need to do is never stop building workers. And people keep sending me replays where they stop worker production. And they say, what did I do wrong? And I'm like, you didn't keep building workers. And they're like, but what did you think about my strategy? And I'm like, I didn't. You're not doing the only thing that matters, It's like, I don't know, man. It's like getting served food and being like, I'm hungry. It's like, well, you need to eat the food. Okay, but like, what else can I do? It's like, I don't know. Eat the food. Like, that's it. That's the one thing. That's the way to feel no more hunger. So you eat the food. Eat it. Oh my God. So there's your answer to that question. I can't do it anymore. Wait. I used to be able to make the noise. This hurts now. Oh, this hurts. Oh, I'm getting old. Dude, can I say for any of you who are worried about aging rules. Aging owns, man. It's so good. I love aging. Ouch. Like it's so much better to be older than it is to be younger. It's the greatest. Nils Wendt says, not 40 yet, you say. No, I fully expect that the second that I hit 40, like one of my hips is just going to tumble out of my body onto the ground. And when I reach down for it, I'm going to uncontrollably make a noise. And then I'm going to start taking Centrum Silver and telling one how much better I feel now that I have my vitamins. All right. Oh, Benescore. Yeah, no, you've asked this a few times. And by the way, Benescore, this is a great example of thank you for repasting this again and again and again. Because I see a set of things, my brain registers it, I start answering one of them, and then it leaves my mind that this question was asked. So this is wonderful. It says, I know you don't really do IRL streaming, but have you thought about visiting Alvia's Sanctuary on stream? I know JP loved visiting when you went, and seeing your interactions with the animal ambassadors would be magical. I know relatively little about Alvia's Sanctuary, but everything that I have ever heard has been wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And I think that as a sort of multi-part answer, I think it would be piece one, time is just the thing that I have none of, because I basically work like 60, 70 hours a week, every week minimum, constantly, because I like the work that I do. I find it really engaging, and there's always problems to solve and always things to do. So that's one barrier. Let's pretend that I didn't have time as a barrier and I could do more. I would be open to doing more collabs and interacting with more people in the streaming space. I mean, the simple reason of why I don't do it is that collaborations are quite time consuming. Just setting it up and getting everything organized and trying to understand, that you and the other person are on the same page. And also, I'm a little bit unusual in that I tend to do more show style content historically and much less, we're just live and hanging out, eating chicken fingers or whatever. And there's a third piece, which is, Benescore, I really hate the idea of imposing on anyone. I really don't. So fundamentally, there's something I'm having a reticence right now, Benescore, because I don't want to be like, yes, Alvia Sanctuary, you might know nothing about me. You should collab with me, though. I am Day 9, after all. That's not really how I think of myself. That feels a little bit like a dick move. Yeah, Air Daddy says your Midwest is showing. Yeah, how do I make myself as small and invisible as possible while apologizing for existing? Is that okay? I'm sorry if it's not. I would be open to it, but I would never want to impose my large, goofy self on anyone's stream. But in the future, I'd be delighted. Max says, you wouldn't impose their whole ideas showing their animals new audiences. Oh yeah, no, I've heard nothing but lovely things. It's just that because I know so little, I don't want to assume. I want to research and dig in and send a very sort of hi, hello, my name is Day 9. I wanted to, would you be interested in collaboration? as I am wont to communicate. All right, I'm going to come back here. Do chickens have fingers? I'm confused. In America, they do. Let's see here. Here we go, Rorak. I was looking for you. It says, my question is about RTS and game design. Since Battle Aces is no longer in the works and Stormgate is struggling, I'd like to know your take on the future of the genre. What do you think can make an RTS successful nowadays? And following that, can the early access model be a detriment for the development of RTS? Yeah, I mean, I've talked a little bit about my feelings on RTS games, where, for me, I kind of think RTS is doing amazingly in a number of ways. Let's talk about the games that totally kick ass, okay? Brood War still has the Afrika Star League. It's just hit season 20, and season 20 has been the best season I've ever seen. Maybe with the exception of ASL 19, the previous season, which was spectacular. StarCraft 2 has all manner of community tournaments. Shout out to my brother Tasteless for RSL. Shout out to Wardy and Zombie Grub and Pig, who every time I tune into their channels, they're covering cups, they're hosting them themselves. Um, Age of Empires 2 has an amazing community where almost all the top players stream and are amazing evangelists for the game. Warcraft 3, I mean, what Grubby has done to grow interest in that game has been remarkable. And everyone I know that puts in a good 10, 15 hours to Warcraft 3 puts in another 100. Like, that game is so good. Let's not forget that Age of Empires 4 launched in, I think it was 2021. They're still adding factions. Someone help correct me if I'm wrong. Like, don't they have, like, they started with 8 factions, 8 civilizations, and now they have 22? Isn't that right? 23, 24, something like this? I mean, it's an insane number of things. And yeah, I know there's a lot of overlap, but I mean, they're doing a lot of unique stuff. What else? Beyond All Reason is literally free, and has more features than any game in history. I mean, Beyond All Reason has more features than Microsoft Excel, okay? Like, I mean, it has like a lot of stuff. And it has like, 8v8 is like a core mode that people play a lot that's like super fun and super clown show. And I think that so in a lot of ways, I'm like, dude, there's a ton of really awesome RTS games to play. And I mean, I think that, if you look at Stormgate, they promised a lot and just didn't deliver very much at all. And the stuff that was there was just not of high quality. I think that, like, to this day, I think that none of the factions are finished. For instance, they have tier 1 and tier 2 and no tier 3. I haven't checked it out in a long time. Battle Aces, I was really enjoying, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I still have no sense behind the scenes or what's in front of the scenes or anything like that. I'm a little sad about that one. I'll be real. I'm a little sad today about Battle Aces because I just got my Steam review. Where it's like, here's the games you played the most this year. You're not going to be surprised that my top 3 were Dota, Silksong, and Blue Prince. But then, like, right there in 4 and 5 were Mechabellum and Battle Aces. And I was just like, man, I wish they'd release that. Oh, it was just gruesome. Hey, Mastermind RTS, it's good to see you. Yeah, no, I've got, man. Because there were some fun moments in that game. And, I think that there's something about, this is not me describing what actually happened or what I think happened, but just contextually, there's this sort of calculus that I know can exist where a company, this isn't just in games, this is just in any business, where it's like, let's say I'm trying to sell pens, and they're really great high quality pens or like phone cases or something. And I say, if I spent $1 million in marketing, I'd only make like $800,000. So it's not even worth it to market, or in the game space, it's something like, we'd make this much money, but it would take that much to keep paying the team and to keep the lights on for the servers and stuff like that. And we just think it's not worth it. Again, I have no idea what specifically happened with Battle Aces, but all I know is that just like, that hurt. That hurt so much. Is Tempest Rising doing okay? This is, I think, another piece to the sort of RTS description where, like, a game like Tempest Rising, is it a game you're supposed to buy and complete and put down? Or is it a game that you are supposed to play 20 hours a week for the rest of the year as you would with a Counter-Strike or a Dota or something like this? And I think that there's this kind of weird straddling that some RTS games do where it felt like Tempest Rising said, here's a killer campaign. It's going to be really fun and really nostalgic. It's going to be reminiscent of the Command & Conquer games. Here's multiplayer as well. And, as far as I have seen from the sort of brief times I've checked in, they're doing some updates over time. Cool. So I think a lot of people just look at the concurrency of games and go, oh my God, the concurrency is horrible. Oh, the concurrence, it's the worst thing ever. When actually the company is super happy because they made way more than they spent on the money. There's other games that are like, we are a free-to-play live service games. Concurrency is everything. And for them, that might actually be an important measure of their health. There's also games that have low concurrency, but the people who do play spend a lot, so they're doing fine. I would say, as a critique of the gaming community at large, I think there tends to be too much of an obsession over concurrency numbers. I mean, I was even joking with a friend about how Dispatch was released recently, and it's like a 7 or 8 hour game. And I was amazed that the concurrency broke 220,000 players. Like, the concurrency doesn't really matter for an 8-hour game. Like, it's kind of a dumb point for me to make in some ways, but also, what the hell? An 8-hour long game? Like a story-driven adventure game that's 8 hours, had 220,000 people logged in at the same time. That's crazy. So anyways, I think that people tend to over-obsess about concurrency numbers. But I feel like I'm starting to get a little off track, so I'm going to pull back to, like, hey, is Tempest Rising doing okay? As far as it looks like, it was okay. Rourke, where's your question? Yeah. Like you're chasing the future of the genre, what you think can make an RTS successful nowadays? And following that, can the early access model be a detriment for the development of RTS? So for the future stuff, I mean, I think... Sheriff, come on. Do you want to come back? Sheriff. So I want you to know something. The laundry room door is down the hall. And if the laundry room door is shut, Sheriff gets really upset and meows because she wants to get in the laundry room. The laundry room door has been shut for a year. She's not allowed in there. She'll pee on our clothes. She's not allowed to go into the laundry room. Do you understand? This cat every day goes downstairs and looks up and it's like, no, not again. What do you mean not again? It's always shut. It's never open. Once it was open, she went in there, peed in the laundry. Okay? Fortunately, it was just some towels. Right? It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't this amazing shirt. It wasn't my AMA shirt. Sheriff, come here. But she keeps losing her mind. Hello, Sheriff. Yeah. Wow. Hello. Yeah, I think that, like, my response about RTS stuff, I think is kind of similar to a lot of other games and genres. Where, like, if you make a game, there needs to be a clear description of why someone would stop playing their existing game and go to the other game. So something like, hey, we're going to release a new MOBA. I mean, I don't follow what MOBAs are coming out or not. I just play Dota. You know what I mean? What a good cat. What a good cat. Now, if you said, hey, here's a MOBA, this is a terrible idea, but whatever. Hey, here's a MOBA with 1,000 players in it. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I literally, as I'm speaking right now, I have no idea what that would even look like. But that is enough for me to go, I don't know, I want to try this thing out. That seems like pretty cool. I think there's been, especially as the long-running host of the Summer PC Games Show, hosted by PC Gamer, there's a lot of games that have kind of fallen into this description where it's like, hey, it's a game in this genre. Like I've been seeing this conversation about, is it called High Guard? Where people are going, oh, it's just a hero shooter. I already play my hero shooter. I'm good. Yeah, what do you think? All right. And I think early access generally, okay, so to answer that second part about early access, oh, sorry, I didn't finish the last thought. Yeah, so I think that if anyone makes a new game, RTS or otherwise, there needs to be a really compelling statement of, here is why people would stop doing that and start doing this. Which also sort of aligns with something that I've said forever, which is that if you release a 6 out of 10, you may as well have released a 0 out of 10. Because I got nothing but 10 out of 10 games that I can play right now. If you release a 7 out of 10 game, that actually still might be a 0 out of 10 for a large swath of people. You know, I got too much good stuff going on. This feels like the golden age of being a gamer. I wake up every day and I'm like, gosh, I wish I could have one of those time chambers from Dragon Ball Z where I could just play all these amazing games that are coming out. I haven't even opened Clair Obscur. Okay? It's awesome. And if your game is like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for a group of people that really want that kind of game, I think you have a solid start. But if you don't do those things, I mean, I think that you're kind of hosed. I think that there was a time like in the 2000s where it felt like if you released a game that was kind of stinky, it wouldn't be a home run, but you also wouldn't go bankrupt, right? You'd maybe sell enough to break even, maybe minus a little bit, but hey, you built this team that has good tech. So hey, it's a little small loss, but that's okay because it can fund the sequel, and the sequel will actually be good. There's a lot of games that come out right now that are live servicey or depend upon a certain threshold of audience, and like they peak at like 100 players, or like it's like not that we were hoping for 100,000 and we got 50,000. It's like we were hoping for 100,000 and like 12 people played the game. And I think that this is representative of the 6 out of 10s are actually 0 out of 10s for people that have amazing titles like Fortnite and Dota and League and Counter-Strike and so on and so forth. Second part of the question about early access, I think that early access I would divide into different chunks. Like, first of all, I generally believe that how do I hold on? So my brain is starting to come up with more divisions and I'm trying to condense it. I think that generally speaking, put your game in front of players and have them play it all the time and often. Just do that. Make people play the game. Like, the amount of times that, for me personally, and all my friends that do game dev have gone, this is going to be an awesome idea. And it gets implemented, they put it in front of players, and the players hate it. That's almost all of what happens. Wonderful. That's why you test, so you change it, so that it isn't bad, so eventually all you're left with is the good stuff. Now, does that mean that you're early access or not? I don't care to define it. I just think that this is a property that early access can provide. A small base of players to play a whole bunch. Like Subnautica, like the first one was in early access for a really long time with like 20 to 40 people playing at a time. You can actually just see the graphs. And then when Subnautica launched, it made, it sold like 20 million copies or some insane number. So I think that it's good to have people play. I think that also a benefit of early access is you can get some money in the door to keep developing a little bit longer. And I mean, hell, I'd rather that the customers who are buying know that it's early access because it's labeled as such. So the people, I know there's some people that go, oh, this early access game is going to be amazing. And then they're pissed off it's not complete, which is a different discussion. But like, I think it's really nice to have a small group of people that are willing to pay some money to get early access to something. And they're engaged with the process, and the developer is getting some money to keep developing, and they're beholden to the players, not to a mysterious publisher or investor or something like this. I think there's a lot of positive benefits. However, I genuinely think that whether you're in early access or not on Steam, or whether you're just having a bunch of players playing your game privately, whatever it might be, I think you have to have a pretty damn clear vision of where you want to go. This is something that I've ranted about before, which is like, feedback is good and important, but nowhere near as important as the person having a clear vision of what they're trying to do. Like Matt Turtle's early access versus the Deadlock approach. Deadlock is actually like a really, I think, good example of this. Deadlock does not strike me as a game where a committee came together and decided that this is what the game should be, and the feedback of the community was like, we should add in more wall jumping. Then they went, well, if they want it, we have to add it in. That game really feels like a sharp vision that I have no idea how they came up with it, but it's excellent. I think that it is really positive to have someone with a clear vision getting feedback that can help inform that vision, as opposed to someone going into early access. What was it, like the Culling 2? Was it the Culling and the Culling 2, where it's like they went into early access with one of them, and then like 3 months later they changed the entire thing, and then people complained about that, so they just changed it to fix whatever the complaint was, and then people complained about that and said we wish we had the old one, and then they deleted everything and just re-released the old version. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but there was like a game that kind of had this story where it was just like, I don't know, it was kind of like design ping pong, where it just bounced around. It sounds like the Culling. I'm pretty sure that was it. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that, it's what is it? It's like drinking from a fire hose when you have feedback coming in from your community. And I think that could be very overwhelming if you're not ready for it. So, Tuesday Twitch says Stellaris has changed a bunch of times in significant ways. Yeah, I think that change can be very positive. Big change can be very, very positive. But I like it when there is a vision holder who is in charge of those things. All right. By the way, a lot of the time I'm looking at the camera when I'm answering, so I'm not looking up at the chat window here. Let's see, These Strange Notions says, what is something you started this year that you'd credit as being helpful mental health practice or habit? Ooh, this one's simple. Go to bed early. Just go to bed. Sleep is the most powerful performance-enhancing drug on Earth. Nothing makes me happier as much as 5 days in a row of just sleeping a lot. Like, just go to bed. This has been, Joe Monkey says, so easy to say. Yeah, no, it's easy to say. It's hard to do. It's hard as hell to do. I actually had to aggressively change my evening routine to where I was getting in bed at like 8:45. I was setting it at that point in time. Just get in bed. And I would mess up and get in bed at 9:30. But hey, I'm still going to bed, falling asleep by 10 and getting up at 6 a.m. Phantom says it's 1:20 a.m. and here I am listening to your AMA. It's fine to stay up and watch me, but once I go offline, you go to bed, young man. I mean, really, I think that's one. And a lot of just the basic stuff, like I take vitamin D. That's awesome because I don't hang out with the sun very much. Try to eat food at regular times. Try to generally eat healthy. Generally. It's great. It's like literally like transformative. And it really pisses. Oh, and let me say, exercising. I hate this. I hate that exercising makes me feel better. I legitimately, it pisses me off. The number of times when I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym. Oh, what if I just sleep in today? And then I make myself go. By the time I'm done, I actually feel good, and I feel relaxed, and I'm more awake and present in meetings. It's so stupid. Devastated to share it. Adrian Monkey says, yes, I always sleep so much better after a workout. Dude, same. Oh, it sucks. I'm making myself work out over winter break too. Normally I'm like a complete degenerate, but I'm trying to think if there's anything emotional. Okay, there's another thing that I'm going to share a weirdly strong opinion. So, I am a straight man, and for whatever reason, as a straight man, I'm not going to claim what it's like for anybody else, but consistently I and my buddies, who are also straight men, have this thing where when we talk about, man, this thing's really stressed me out, I'm having a hard time, almost always the first statement is, well, bro, are you hitting the gym? It's like no one wants to listen to me talk about my feelings sometimes, it feels like, man. Oh my God. Now, I know for a fact that is not just a guy thing, but my goodness, just bro, are you hitting the gym? Dude, come on, man. You really you just start hitting that gym, man. It'll be fine. Just lift, man. This feels like such a jump for me. like, or unless you're not talking to me, Ghosty. But yeah, no, I tend to surround myself with people who don't do that. But I mean, especially, oh my God, like when I was younger, that's like, no, like I couldn't get anyone to talk about feelings at all. Like, bro, I know you're really sad. I get it. But if you, trust me, if you hit the gym, and things like, I'm worried I'm not going to pay rent. You should hit the gym, bro. Dude, this doesn't fix the rent issue. It's like, it's so stupid, man. And so I feel obligated to, after this year, it turns out going to the gym and sleeping and eating healthy, these are like positive emotional boosters. I'm not going to stop there. I'm not going to stop there. Because I think that the most powerful mental health trick is a introspection tool, which is the following question. When this thing happened, what did I feel about myself? This is a weird question to sit with. It's a super therapist-y sounding question, which makes sense because I first heard it from my therapist. So let me give an example. Let's say, actually, I've used this example a bunch of times. When I was younger, I was really quiet, and my brother has always just been incredibly funny. Just incredibly funny. So I'm talking like when I'm 14 or something, and I'd be trying to tell a story that I wanted to tell, and Nick would make interjections that were hilarious. And, it was that feeling where I'd be at like a dinner table and I'd be telling a thing, and then Nick would make the interjection and everyone at the table would laugh. And I remember internally the way that I felt, the way that I was like in my mind thinking, is I would go, dude, you asshole. I'm telling my story. Stop interrupting. It would be about how he's a jerk because he's interrupting. He's being bad. This is how I would vent to my friends. Oh, my brother never lets me tell a story. He always has to get in there. It's always about him. Now, this is a kind of way of feeling stuff where you're talking about the other person. Oh, my boss is so bad in this and this and this way. Oh, this, community I'm part of, they're all going crazy about this, and I think they're crazy, and blah, blah, blah. But the question, what do I feel about myself, was really interesting to like think about. Because if I go back to 14-year-old Sean, it's like, oh, what's happening is that I have a need for attention. I want attention. And if I feel like I'm asking for it and I'm not getting it, then I start to feel like maybe I don't matter. Maybe my feelings don't matter. I feel invisible. I start to feel bad about myself in those ways. And what is really powerful about this kind of introspection is that then you can go, oh, I see. So if I feel like I don't matter and my feelings don't matter and my stories don't matter, I actually think that what I need is more attention. And now I can seek out that thing to help me get fulfillment in that way. Or, maybe I can just go, oh, in this situation, this might not be a good venue to do that. Because here's a flip side consideration, which is I literally know of people that when they tell stories, they don't actually feel like it's a compelling or fun story. And if someone interjects with a joke, as my brother would have at that time, and everyone laughs, it makes them feel better. It makes them feel like a good thing is happening. It makes it feel like they're being heard. It makes it feel like they're being listened to. It's different for different people. And this is why I love the how do I feel about myself, because if I said, oh, my brother was an asshole then, someone else would go, well, no, that's not being an asshole. That's great. And then we'd be arguing with each other. It doesn't go anywhere. But if I can describe how I feel about myself, then that actually gives me the opportunity to be able to fix things. So that's my favorite mental health description. How do I feel about myself when that other thing happened? And I think there's like a lot of really interesting things from this, I don't know if you've ever like seen someone who's unbelievably ripped on social media, and you're just like, oh god, I'm so frustrated seeing this. I wish Twitter wouldn't show it to me. It's so stupid. Oh my god. It's like, okay, what am I feeling about myself? Oh, I'm feeling like I am unattractive and will never be attractive. Maybe that's what's happening to me. So maybe I should spend some time trying to do a little self-care. Maybe get myself a nice new outfit. Maybe start, trying to work on my appearance. Or maybe just take a moment to go, actually, I'm fine just the way I am. Like all these kinds of things are actually actionable. Yelling into the void of Twitter is not. So that's my answer to that one. Phantom says, and hit the gym. No! No! All right, listen, bro. Just hit the gym. Trust me, bro. Oh, man. All right, here we go. I'm going to go to Shinji X. Happy 67 months. We've already done a ton of really cool things so far, and still obviously do. Oh my god, thank you, Shinji X. But what would you say to be your white whale for you? Could be anything like meeting someone you find really cool for the first time, or doing something you'd be super hyped for, or accomplishing an incredible milestone. Wait, what do you mean by my white whale? Because didn't Captain Ahab never get the whale? Didn't the whale win? I don't want to have a white whale at all, Shinji X. Oh my god. I really don't want this in the slightest. Oh my god. Doesn't the whale get him? Yeah, no, I think listen, I'm not into this white whale thing, Shinji X. Let me tell you, you can keep the whale to yourself. I mean, the obvious answer to your question more earnestly is like, well, the thing that I want to do is make an awesome game. I've made terrible ones. I've made ones that are pretty fun. But I want to make an amazing one. Like a killer one. Like, I want people to be like, oh my god, your game is so good, I'm going to throw up, I want to make a game that you stay up till 4 a.m. playing and ruin your sleep schedule. That's what I want to do. Like a killer whale. Yeah, Amandel Darley Sam, hell yeah. Elemental says, I like the one that let the chatters die. Yeah, no, that was really fun. We made a interactive text-based adventure game where people from chat would be the participants, and they were given roles and characters in the story where they're trying to save Day 9 TV Town. And if in the game you died, you got banned from my chat. And the longer you survived in the game, when you got banned, the ban time increased. So the first people that would get banned, they were out for like 10 minutes. Let me tell you, if you were some of the last 10 and you got banned, you were out of there for like 3 days. Like, see you once your weekend is through. I mean, that was really fun, right? Because if I say to you, do you want to pick door A or door B? You go, I don't know, that doesn't seem very fun. But if I say, pick door A or door B, and if you get it wrong, you're banned. People are like, we got stakes, baby. We got stakes. Oh, that's so good. Do we ever get back to Day 9 TV Town? We got to do it at some point. The code's lurking around there at some point. Or not at some point. In some place. In some location. Okay. Let us return. Oh, Joe Monkey says, what's your favorite song from K-Pop Demon Hunters? I still haven't seen it. And I'm sure if I see it, I'll love it. Also, sus opening, since we took one of your questions earlier, I'm going to temporarily belay your inquiry. Ooh. This is eDubs Lives Day 9. Do you have any advice on how/where to share things beyond your immediate friends/family group without feeling like a nuisance? I've just started making YouTube videos for fun and I'm having a blast. I'd love to share with more people, but I'm also adverse to going around annoying people being like, look at me, oh. Yeah, yep, I get this. I understand this one, eDubs. I think, so, to steal some advice from the excellent Brandon Sanderson, when trying to grow and to like find an audience and to find content, a really good thing to look for is peers, people who are like at your level. Like if you are making content about Warhammer and you're getting a small amount of views, are there communities of, peers that also share videos and stuff, and you go there and you can also share? Like this kind of thing, I think, is a really effective way to frame your brain. It's not, I have something amazing that you want, or, hey, I'm a piece of shit. Will anyone like my stuff? It's just kind of going to an area where people share stuff. And I think that also, as part of that idea of finding peers, I like the idea of like 90 to 95% of your time should actually be socializing in an honest and sincere way and engaging. And then 5% can be your content. Like, I think that a lot of what I'm going to go on a crazy tangent here, E-dubs. There's this theory of communication that I've been talking about a lot, which I call the onus in communication. Whose job is it to be giving or taking in an exchange? Something as simple as your boss walks in and says, all right, we have this problem with the current project. How are we going to fix it? Immediately, all the colleagues in the room, it's on them. The onus is on them because the boss came in and said it's on you, right? And imagine, maybe we could try this idea. And the boss goes, wow, that has issue A and B and C. All right, what else can we do? And all of a sudden, it's kind of like, it's up to me to defend my idea. The burden's back on me again. And I think a good way in socializing to make people feel less stressed, make people feel more open and more willing, is to put some onus back on yourself and to not ask direct questions to people. Well, I shouldn't say not ask direct questions. I mean, put some burden on yourself as opposed to strictly putting more burden or questions on the other person in this sort of way. So if the boss came in and was like, hey, there's this problem, anyone have any ideas? Someone shares an idea, the boss could receive it and go, okay, yeah, because that could maybe work because of this and this and this, but I'm actually thinking some problems like this and this. I mean, maybe we could solve those in this way. I don't know. What do you think? Notice that the boss, just by taking some opportunity to put the burden on themselves to come up with this answer, to come up with this, burden of solutions and considerations and all this, and then ask back to the other person, immediately it's de-escalatory to the other person. And this kind of like model that I like is not, I ask you something. It's I put a thing in the middle that you can take or leave. So for instance, instead of where do you want to go to dinner? It's like, hey, I was thinking maybe going to dinner soon. I was thinking something like maybe we go to this Italian place, or maybe there's that German spot up the street. I don't know. Is there a place that you were maybe thinking of going? Or is there a place you wanted to go to dinner? Do you want to go to one of those? Like by giving some offers, hey, someone can pick that thing up. Or, the example that I was talking to one of my buddies about earlier is like, one of my friends was really great about saying, hey, I'm going to be doing this like sort of evening gaming here in Discord if any of you guys want to join. And just put it out as an offer, not as, hey, does anyone want to play games in Discord with me tonight? Ping you, ping you, ping you, ping you, ping you. It's just like, hey, I'm going to be in if anyone wants to hang out. And then afterwards, dude, LeMayo, like, I just did this and this and this. Oh, it was super fun. Hey, I'll be there on Thursday if any of you want to come hang out. And I remember seeing that and going, oh, okay, maybe I'll hang out at one point, right? It wasn't him going, Sean, do you want to show up on Thursday at 7? Because I don't know, sometimes that makes me feel really pressured. But if there's just a thing that's happening, if there's an offer on the table that I can pick up, that's great. And so finally, veering all the way back to Edub's question about, content sharing, this is why I like finding communities where you can show up and you can contribute, you can give, you can chat. You can show up and go, hey, I love this thing that you made there. I love that thing over there. It reminds me of this other video. You linked to someone else's video. and you're just contributing positively. And again, in a sincere and earnest way. You're not going like, all right, that's 10 messages not about me. 9, 8, 7, 6, we're getting close to me time. People will see through that in a heartbeat. But then finally, when you're like, hey, I've been making some content if anyone wants to, see. And then you drop it in. I literally do this with some of my Discords, including the one that I accidentally was just hanging out in where my friend came in and asked me if I was in a meeting. I remember one of my friends was just talking about playing new card games and, like, hey, is anyone play this card game or this card game? I linked them to my Yu-Gi-Oh video. And I said, I'm really cautious about learning new card games ever since I tried Yu-Gi-Oh! And linked him to that. I'm in there all the time, talking all the time. And I have found this really effective. I really like trying to find peer groups and trying to treat people as equals, not you're below me or you're way above me. I worship you. How you speak with somebody. And those are some of my thoughts, and I don't know if I'm being that helpful, but I'm done. I've shared all of my thoughts. So, meh. Raunchy. Tuesday Twitch says, you used to say that your goal was to bring esports to North America. Do you feel like you succeeded? Do you feel like your goals changed? I would say I think that the success case happened. I don't necessarily think I was a particularly large part of it. But I think that it was really interesting growing up and being just made fun of and bullied so much for loving StarCraft and the competition around it. So much so. And when I think about today, Tuesday, like, I almost feel like with like Gen Alpha, Gen Z, they've never even lived through a time where it was weird to play games. Like, the idea that it would be weird is odd. And I think that that's awesome. Now, all of a sudden, I think largely thanks to Twitch. I think Twitch was the biggest reason that this happened. I think thanks to Twitch, all these disparate communities, from like fighting games to RTS games to Counter-Strike, to just, they all kind of came together in this spot and started to just accelerate because there were just millions of diehard fans all over the place. And then because those games are amazing, that grew. And I think that I'm a little sad about this weird, I don't know what it is, like situation with esports where there was this enormous overreach of, oh my God, we're not going to have slow, steady growth up from single-digit millions of revenue to low double digits, and then maybe long term eventually get to like, 9 figures. It was like, no, we're going to jump right out the gate. And I feel like a lot of this happened directly with the Overwatch League coming out and saying, oh, there's $20 million a slot. Where suddenly there was like, teams are raising huge amounts of money at crazy valuations when their actual revenue was really low. And this kind of caused this weird kind of swell and then shrink of the whole scene, which, I don't know, it feels like it was this odd detour. And I sort of am relieved to see esports looking more and more like what I would expect. Which is, it's growing, it's slow, it's steady, there's super dedicated niche communities, and people love it. So, yeah, I guess I'd say it's really awesome. I think esports is doing great. It sounds fantastic. My lips are sweating. All these questions, my lips are sweating. Oh, Deadlock, you've been asking this for a little bit. Says, I think you said you plan on playing Warcraft 3 next year. I sure do. Hardcore multiplayer, baby. I'm going to go hard on the multiplayer. That's going to be the goal. I'm going to dedicate a good chunk of time to doing that stuff. Yes. And there it is. Trevor says, what do you think is the most important thing you can do to replace a bad habit with a good one? Struggle with alcohol use off and on, and would like to see what you think. Yeah, well, first of all, good on you for just going, I don't like my relationship with this substance. I have a number of friends who have never drank. I have a number of friends who used to drink and didn't like how they felt dependent on it and now are fully sober. I have friends that just occasionally have a drink and don't think much about it. I just think it's wonderful, the fact that you're actually going, I'm kind of struggling with this a little bit. I think that, like, that sort of question of, like, why am I drinking? What makes me want to drink in a way that I'm not interested in? I've, from stories of some of my friends and even some of my own experiences with alcohol, there are things that are weird, like, am I just drinking because I'm bored? Is that a reason? Or am I drinking because I'm feeling bad about myself in a certain way? Am I just drinking because I've not thought of something different to do? Like, oh, it's Friday night. I always get a 6-pack and watch TV. And I think that any time I have tried to change habits from one thing to another thing, there is a first step that I need, no matter what it is, always, regardless of its health or work or hobbies or relationships. I need empty time. I need void time. So maybe it's something like, okay, I'm going to set aside Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon every Saturday for the next few weeks just to think about X. And I when I set that time aside, what I first do is make sure nothing is happening there. So from 10 to noon, I just will turn off my phone and step away from the internet and just sit and be by myself and my thoughts for a little bit. And just have the time set out. And then, once I have that time and I can actually commit to the void time, I can actually free up this time in my schedule, then I start trying to actually do whatever thing that I'm trying to do. If I were trying to write a book, for instance, I would set aside, again, let's imagine, 10 to noon, not a lot of hours to write, but I'd first set aside that time to just be away from everything else. What I wouldn't do is first session, all right, it's 9:59, ready, set, 10 a.m. Okay, right. That's not how I operate anymore. If there's anything that's hard, I don't try to speed up or increase my intensity. I try to slow down. I try to really pull it super far down in terms of energy or difficulty or impact. That's why I always start with the void. How do I create some void time? And I think that if you have dedicated robust, significant time, then you can begin to start saying, okay, now that I have this time, what am I going to do to fix that other habit or to do that other thing? So like in your case, you might start carving out this time and you might spend a week or two just sitting by yourself for an hour twice a week. This would be actually the thing that I would recommend doing. Pick 1 hour during the weekday and 1 hour on the weekend and just sit alone with yourself and your thoughts. Just free up the time. Don't make any plans. Don't promise yourself that you're going to make a decision. Just set aside that time. And then after maybe 2-3 weeks of this, where you actually feel like you've secured it, I think that you'll find that there is now a lot of comfort tackling this problem because you now have time to do the solution. And whatever approach you have, do it slow. For instance, maybe you spend week 1 and 2 just freeing up the time, just embracing the void. And then maybe week 3, you start going, I think maybe I'm feeling like I don't have enough hobbies. And then you might dwell on that for week 3 and week 4. And then in week 5, you then might come along and go, you know what? I'm going to start coming up with a list of stuff that I want to do. And I think I'm going to start making these new hobbies be the habit that replaces this other habit. Or maybe it's not about hobbies. Maybe like you're sitting alone and you're just feeling a lot of feelings about something that happened in the past that's just like irking you. And maybe you go, you know what? I think I am going to go talk to a therapist. It sounds great. And I think that doing so without judgment or guilt or any of those things, because I just don't like how often people use guilt and shame to communicate. You made a mistake. Okay, well, you need to feel like really, really, really bad about it. I need to bludgeon you into the ground. How else are you going to change? I think that's dumb. I think the fact that you're engaging with this earnestly, like you're coming in front of a group of people publicly and talking about it, you're already doing great. You don't need to feel bad. You don't need to feel guilty. You just need to dedicate some time to it, and I think you're going to be just fine. And I think reaching out for professional help is also amazing. But I can't stress enough how much everything positive in my life comes from embracing the void. Just finding this empty time first and maintaining its emptiness. One of the greatest pieces of advice that I ever heard from one of my pals who said that when he was managing people, if they were overworked and overstressed, and they were trying to figure out how to manage a bunch of stuff, he would say to them, all right, first thing I want you to do is to free up 1 day a week so that you have nothing on that 1 day. And they would, as high achievers would go like, okay, well, like, what is it you want me to do then? And my friend would just say, no, just free up the time. And once they had a day free a week that wasn't being constantly budgeted and over budgeted and all this sort of stuff, immediately, one, they would start to understand what things that were actually urgent and what things were not. And two, just this empty time actually gave this high-performing individual time to just think and time to just process and reflect and actually begin to start being even better at improving whatever work or pipeline or process they were part of. So maybe that's helpful. Maybe it's not, but I totally trust your judgment. You know your situation better than I. I just hope this, my experience, could be helpful as well. So my lips are still sweating. Jules says, heading out for now, but cheers to 2026, Sean. You may no longer feel like what you're doing is teaching, but I do learn a lot. But I do find myself learning from you almost every time I watch. Dude, thank you, Jules. Thank you so much. Oh my God, it's Amoral Zombie. Oh, Amoral Zombie, yeah! Amoral Zombie, who famously, and I can call you out for this, I can point directly to you because this happened live. You were asking for advice about asking someone out during a previous AMA, and I encourage you to just ask them out immediately, and you did, and then turned off your phone. That is an amazing power play. That's the greatest power play of all time. That's so good. Oh my God. I mean, that's like reaching out to someone who just applied and going, you're hired, and then ghosting them. That's amazing. A 10 out of 10, Amoral Zombie. I look forward to seeing you every year. Amoral Zombie says, I'm working as a math tutor, but I don't like teaching or children. I see. My math degree doesn't transfer without reskilling. I have a decent Twitter following, but I'm scared to publish or stream anything because I don't want to fail in public. How do I pick a direction? I was 2023 AMA guy and I are good friends. Came to New York for 5 days over Halloween and met all my friends. I'm still yearning a bit, but it's manageable. You might want to keep that phone off, Amoral Zombie. You're so fucking cool. So, I want to zoom in on this. I don't want to fail in public. How do I pick a direction? Okay. Alex, too easy. This is a great question. I want to come back to this one, too. With my sweaty lips. And also, Nildwin, I want to see your question again after that as well. I think failing a lot is something everybody should do. I think making tons of mistakes and eating shit is an important part of life because it's just not that bad. Everything's fine. You can completely eat shit and it's fine. It's actually totally okay. And the phrase that I like so much is not that people don't care if you mess up. I prefer the phrase, people don't mind if you mess up. They just don't mind. They just will not mind at all. And I mean, it's kind of funny to think of how many things I have done in terms of shows or broadcasts or career moves in my life that have just totally sucked and been colossal time sinks that made no money and often lost huge amounts of money. I used to do live event production for Red Bull. All that happened is I lost years of my life to stress and made no money. I mean, in a literal sense, I made money, but I mean, like, for the amount of work that I was putting in and the amount that was earned, I mean, it was just consuming my soul fire for an event that would come and go in a weekend and everyone would be done and move on to the next one. And it was just like, wow, my God, I hated it. So I just stopped, and no one went, wait a minute, Sean, that event that you did was bad and it wasn't good. And you told everyone to tune into it. Everyone was like, oh, yeah, it wasn't very good, so the viewership was low, and it's fine. You know, do the next thing. I think in a lot of ways, you can't really, I don't know, like that feeling of, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Oh my God, I'm so ashamed, so humiliated. I will quote myself from like 45 minutes ago. Like, well, if that happened, what would you feel about yourself? What would you feel about yourself? Maybe some bit of negative self-talk, like maybe something like, oh, it would prove that I actually am a failure. Okay, well, sit with that feeling. So suppose that you're a failure. What does that mean? What happens in your life? I take great inspiration from the number of just horrendous sociopathic humans that you'll see on YouTube and streaming platforms who just put their foot in their mouth, say horrible things, get involved in insane controversies, and then just go, all right, well, you know, whatever, I'm just going to go live again. And they just plow right through it. That's amazing. They can do the worst stuff ever, like in chains. Like every week it's a new bad thing. And they're okay. And I mean, I say that only half jokingly, because like, I think that the most important thing that one can do is just to do stuff. There's no such thing as a wrong decision, Immortal Zombie. There's no such thing as a wrong decision. Because let's say that you chose a career path and you wanted to go into cobbling. You want to do cobbling, you want to become a cobbler, and you committed everything to moving to a place that is the best cobbling training program in the world. And 3 months in, you go, I actually hate this. You can just quit the cobbling program and go somewhere else. Great. It happens all the time. It's totally fine. No one minds. And if someone goes and goes, hey, you did this for 3 months, then quit, you go, yeah, I thought that I would really enjoy it, but I really didn't like it very much, so I switched. People go, okay. And then you're done. And you did it, and you're fine. Another quote that I really like is, you only need to be right, or in business, you only need to be right 30% of the time, but you need to be decisive 100% of the time. I really like that. If you're in a situation where you're looking at choice A or B or C or D, I don't know, just fucking flip a coin. Or I guess roll a D4. Sorry. Roll a 4-sided coin and just pick one and it'll be totally fine. And I think that feeling of that, what do I do? What's the right thing to do? Oh, God. You can just completely ignore it, pick something, pick it hard, go all in, push really far in that direction, and then bail 2 months later, switch to a different thing, go hard in that direction. I think you'll find pretty quickly, Immortal Zombie, that you're actually invincible. If you're someone that is capable of asking someone out and then turning off your phone, you're more than capable of picking a career profession and going all in and turning off your self-doubt. You're going to be completely fine. I actually think that I am a good example of someone who you could frame my career as a bunch of success. Oh, Sean's done a lot of successful, awesome stuff. You can also frame it as, wow, Sean has just been daisy chaining, shitting the bed for 16 years. And because he's a clown on the internet, he just seems to keep chugging along. Like, believe me, the times when I feel really down about myself, I have an infinite amount of pieces of concrete evidence of my failures that I just can't get out of my head. And it's all okay. No one minds. You can keep doing it. You're going to be great, Amoral Zombie. You're going to be great. If you're doing something with children and teaching and you don't like either of them, then you can get on out of it, Amoral Zombie. You can just pick a thing. Let me know. Hey, early next year in January when I'm back streaming Amoral Zombie, I want to hear what direction you're going in. I want you to come back and tell us all. The audience at home would love to know. You're a star of the AMAs, by the way. You're a star. I don't know. I think this is kind of funny because, like, on the topic of no one can be taught, but some people can learn. You know, it's funny meeting people who are like artists. And I'm like, did you go to school for art? They're like, no, I went to pharmacy school. And I was so tired of doing pharmacy work that I just started, I began to draw in my college program. And I just obsessively draw and try to make things really pretty. And now I just do 3D modeling professionally. And there you go. Are you finding balancing working on your game studio and streaming? If it were me, I'd be perpetually exhausted. Ethernet, I am quite tired. So Ashuman, Ashuman, I want to come back to yours because I remember I asked some people to repost their question, and I couldn't remember who I said. Alex, yeah, Alex, too easy. Says in a parallel universe, where you became a scientist instead of an entertainer video game maker. What would be your field of research? Pure math. Pure math, man. I just want hard, abstract problems. I would be a math researcher. Because my hero, I talk about this book enough that I just have left it by my desk. My hero is Andrew Wiles, the man that finally cracked Fermat's last theorem. And in doing so, created one of the most foundational and important theorems in modern mathematics, called the modularity theorem. And this story of him solving it is in Fermat's Enigma by Simon Singh. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing book. That's what I would do. I love when there is a problem with no angle of attack, there's no template, there's no solution, and it's just you by yourself, go. Oh, it's so good. Hell yes, Nildawen. Yes, I think you're going to love the book. I did do some math research in college, and I have 3 published papers. 3 of them. Let's see, one of them was... What were they? Did I do that? Who cares? I really enjoyed that experience of just having a pen and a blank sheet of paper and just thinking. And thinking and thinking and drawing stuff and thinking and crossing stuff out and sketching little ideas. Then suddenly your brain starts to like feel that maybe this is a direction to go in, and then it starts to expand. And what was once nebulous thought is now like rigorous, robust, equations and thoughts. And then you go, and now I can explain exactly why this doesn't work. Nice. Move over here. Start working again. That's what I would do. I would do math, Alex. I would do math. Nildwin says, also mine was one to repost. Yes, but I forgot what I pruned it down to. So what if that thing I said? If that thing is that what you did say, I'll read it. Paste away, Nildwin. Paste away. Or you can paste it long. It's all good. And then Ashraman, we're going to come to you. Oh yeah, Ashraman, we'll do you, and then we'll come back to Nildwin. My partner and I had a great discussion recently. And also, dude, Ashman, I totally whiffed it. Thank you for the 5 subs. I see you right there. There you are. Oh my god. Trigonometry did 10. And Zil, by the way, did 5. Oh, that was yesterday. Dust Wizard and Passaitan Wilderness. Oh my god. Thank you all. Holy moly. Sorry, I've been very emphatic about my various answers. Was not paying attention. It says, my partner and I had a great discussion recently and love your take. I think people who avoid trying new things, such as food, hobbies, activities, etc., is a red flag, if minor. She disagreed. Do you have a take? I think it's fine to do nothing new. I think it's totally fine. I think it's fine. I don't think it's a red flag. And the reason I say this is that I happen, like incidentally, I am a very ambitious person and I work really hard because I like the work. I just don't think that I am a better person for being that way. If there's someone who's like, yeah, I work a 9 to 5, and when my job's done, I come home and play Candy Crush and watch TV. I like snacks. I walk my dog, and that's how I'm going to live my entire life. That's awesome. I think that's a great life. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I really dislike this attitude of like, I'm sorry, are you not hustling? You're not hustling? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you about the supplements I take. And I get up at 1:30 in the morning so that way I can crush it by the time the sun sets. Like, screw that. Like, I think it's great to just be like, yeah, dude, took 2 weeks off, just kind of hung out, rewatched some Friends. There you go. That's great. I think that's totally fine. And I think that a lot of how I view a relationship is that nothing is right or wrong outside of what those two people agree with. I literally know a really successful couple that I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. The guy goes to bed at 8 and wakes up at 4. The girl stays up till 2 or 3 and wakes up close to noon. So there's this like sliver of time in the middle where they hang out and they are both thrilled. They're over the moon. That's not enough time in my eyes. Like I'd want to hang out with my partner a little bit more. I know of partners where one is a hardcore extrovert going out all the time, the other's a homebody introvert. And it works great. Works great for them. I know of another couple who literally do everything together. They go to sleep at the same time. They work the same job together, like in the same departments. They're around each other. They come home, they hang out all the time. They spend all their weekends just hanging out together, and it works for them. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of these. It would be bad if, say, in that last example, one person wanted to hang out all the time, the other person wanted to hang out half the time, and the rest of the time they wanted to be alone. There's nothing wrong with either of those individually, but that would be frictive in that specific relationship. So I think it's totally fine. I think it's completely, totally fine. Now, if I met someone who was like, I don't want to do anything new, I'd be like, all right, well, if I don't like you today, we're good. I need no more information. I know what to do. And it's to not hang out with you. In a lot of ways, I am more on the side of doesn't do new things. Is that true? There's a lot of habits that I really, 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 really enjoy. Ashaman says, I meant in regards to food and stuff. Oh, I love new food. Oh, is there a new restaurant? I'm sorry, new restaurant. Do you want to go to a new restaurant? Let's go to a new restaurant and order new food. No, it needs to be new restaurant. Oh, yeah, I love me some new restaurant stuff. I mean, it's kind of funny because I ate the same lunch probably 250 days, 300 days out of 365 this year. Same lunch. It was chicken with brown rice and spinach. Every lunch for the whole year. And I love it. It's so good. I've done one adjustment mid-year, which is I started putting cayenne pepper on the brown rice and the chicken. Whoa. That's it. I love it. It's so good. And if someone's like, Sean, do you want to try something new for lunch? I would go, no. And I'd put a thumbs up and I'd get back to work. Craig Looney says, that sounds like a guy who's hitting the gym. That's right, man. I try to get 400 grams of protein an hour. Neil DeWayne, look, I'm coming back to your question. I did it. Oh my God. He says, what was it like for you the first time you had a situation where there was no context, i.e., not a determined convention, and people you didn't know at all just came up to you knowing like very personal stuff you said in an offhand remark on stream at some point? My brain wouldn't know what to do other than to be polite and look for exits. So, at first, it was really weird. like, I would describe the like I enjoy doing this. Like right now, I'm alone in a room outside of Sheriff, who's she's gone. We're safe. But I'm alone in a room. I'm yelling at a webcam. I'm effusive and energetic by myself in a basement. Like I enjoy doing that. And then all of a sudden, someone would want to come up to me and talk about stuff and would bring up stuff I said on air. And then I'd start to feel like really embarrassed. So I'd be like, oh my God, did I say that? Oh my God, what if I was making a fool of myself? Oh gosh. And I would describe that it was the emotional equivalent of if you had to do public speaking while pooping. Just just think about that for a moment. Like really think, because I think that actually captures exactly how I felt. Where I was like, I'm so self-conscious right now, but I have to keep talking. It's apparently I'm a public speaker now. How do I just stop existing? Is there a button I can press to just die? That would help me a lot. So blanked. So extreme is a guilty pleasure for you. That's very funny. I like doing public speaking while pooping when I don't know who's watching. Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh shit, that's hilarious. Okay. All right, I'm pulling it together. Um oh God, I have so much cat hair on my nose. It kind of sticks to my face when she comes up and rubs against me. What was the question? Oh yeah. I remember. But I think that what was helpful for me is starting to realize that really people are coming up and talking to me about something that we connect with, or something that we connect upon. And because for me, just socially, whenever I meet someone, I wanted to find a way to connect to them. That's like the first thing I want to do. So I typically ask people, what do you do for fun? Like if you had a free weekend where you were by yourself and you weren't going to see anyone else, like how would you fill your time? And then whatever they say, I try to find ways to relate to them so I can connect to them. Otherwise, I don't know, I would feel uncomfortable when I was younger unless I felt like I was actually having a conversation with a person. So what I started to realize is that if people are coming up to me, bringing up something that I said or a game that I played, I now had the most obvious and clear way to connect. Like immediately, like, oh my God, Sean, I can't believe that you're still not taking notes in Blueprints. I immediately go, oh wait, have you played Blueprints? Have you been into it? And if they say yes, I'm like, okay, wait, were you like did you take tons of notes? Like, or like, what was your first experience like? Or no, I haven't played it. Oh, is Blueprints like not your sort of game? Then wait a minute, why are you watching Blueprints? And it's just like the easiest, nicest way to connect to someone. So what used to feel like very intimidating to me, I now actually kind of feel like it's comforting now, because no one really comes up to me and is like, "Hey, are you day 9? What's your StarCraft stuff?" I'm like, "Oh, you play StarCraft?" And they're just like, "I'm not telling you anything about myself. You're a piece of shit, day 9." No one really does that. If they're coming up to say hi, we're already on friendly footing. So kind of in a weird way, what's the right term for it? So let's say that there's like an acquaintance, and then there's like a friend. If someone comes up to me, I actually consider them like somewhere in between acquaintance and friend. Like if you're talking to me because you watch my stuff, I already know that you at least like one of StarCraft or Magic or Hearthstone or Blueprints or Elden Ring. Like I just know that at the very least we can be better than acquaintances. Edubs says, I just came over to say fuck you. That has happened. That absolutely has happened. Which is weird. Because like the first time it's horrifying because I remember I said that I was going to a place called Tenno Sushi in downtown LA after a show. Someone just showed up to just be shitty to me. You're so fake, Day 9. Fuck you, you fake piece of shit. And said a bunch of things that I won't repeat. And I was just like, I just want Philadelphia rolls. like my brain starts malfunctioning. I'm like, if he goes away, I get to eat Philadelphia rolls. But like, later times when that's happened, I also, it doesn't hurt me as much in my feelings. Yeah. Because like, I don't know. I feel more comfortable with that. Disney Futurist says, how do you imagine your streaming audience? One conglomerate person? Lots of diverse people? A vague concept? Yeah, I imagine that you are just like Tetsuo during his transformation at the end of Akira. I view you all as one big rat king of human beings like the Huddle from the game Inside. That's how I see you. Sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I view you as one of the many states of the Thing from the movie The Thing with dogs and arms growing out of you and shit. That's how I see you every time I'm here. And I'm grateful for your support. I think more accurately, I kind of view it like I don't know. I each see you all individually as people. I'm just chatting with people that I hang out with. It's somewhere between acquaintance and friend. It's like somewhere in the middle there, where I don't literally know you, but like, New Sunshine, you've been here forever. I recognize you. I am familiar with things you talk about and things you don't talk about. I make jokes about Pinfeldorf always coming in, or Aaron 2A poking fun at me. I know their personalities. I know Ghosty's incredibly clever humor coming in. I know Albatross at times enthusiasm. Like, I don't know, it's just, I just know, I know Immortal Zombie with her ghosting. Ethanet says, I feel very uncomfortably seen right now. You might be pooping. Careful. Watch yourself. Huh? I don't know, like, because in a way, if I'm streaming, say, let's say I'm back to my old schedule where I'm streaming about 30 hours a week. I'm spending 30 hours a week with y'all. I see a lot of you. Yashaman says, I think it's a gamer thing. We gamers are used to usernames being people. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the same way as like old StarCraft buddies that we play with, and neither of us speak a common language. Like maybe they speak Russian, I speak English, but we're playing this game together and I get a strong sense of their personality and who they are. Fiona, good to see you, Fiona the T-Rex. Says, Sean, when you compare good games that held up from our early years to games that were great but have not aged well, what sorts of things do you think helped those in the former category stand out? Wow, that's a hell of a question. I'm trying to, because like, okay, my brain has tons of games that were good at the time and are still good today. What's a game that was great at the time but is like, meh? I'm actually struggling, because a lot of games that were great and then we're like, meh, it's like they don't even enter into my brain. I want to see some like top 10 lists from like 1999 or some shit. Diablo 2 is just great, yeah. Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider's an interesting one. Or GoldenEye. Oh, GoldenEye, man. I don't even know if that game is good. Britt and I bought GoldenEye on the Switch, and we couldn't figure out how to move. we were just kept turning left and right, and we couldn't make the character go forward. Yeah, but okay, every game on the N64 is awful, except for Super Mario and Banjo-Kazooie. All the rest of them are irredeemable garbage. So maybe it's the controls. Ocarina of Time, yep, totally not a good game, doesn't hold up, because I have to maintain my prior statement. StarCraft 64, actually that one was pretty good. That one still holds up. Super Smash Brothers on the N64. Gotta go to the GameCube to get a good one. Let's see what else here. So I think a common theme that I'm seeing in my brain is controls. I think like controls are probably the biggest thing that when you go back to those games, you're just like, it's a nightmare to do anything. And I think that a lot of games that were in that like 95 to 2005 window, this is when like 3D was like becoming a thing. And so no one really knew about the general control schema. Like, oh, I guess I took my controller out of here. You know, you have the dual thumbsticks on modern controllers. That wasn't there until like the PS2 or until the Xbox One. Did Xbox One have dual thumbsticks on it? I want to say it did. But I mean, like a lot of those early consoles were just. I mean, it's like saying, hey, I invented a new kind of third person game or a third dimension game, and all you have is a mouse. How do you have movement and aiming and any other buttons when you have a left mouse and a right mouse, and that's it? Yeah, all of those were terrible. Like, I remember there was a game, I can't remember what it was called. Every time I bring it up, someone remembers it, which is that the way that you would move is you'd have your mouse. I don't need to hold the mouse. To move forward, you would move your mouse forward. And to go back, you move your mouse back. And same with left and right. So if you wanted to run, you would like do this with your mouse. Oh my God, it was so awesome, dude. Oh, it was crazy. And then you had to hold a button and move it to like turn. So you'd like turn fast by holding the button. Yeah, all those games were terrible. They really didn't hold up. Rolex says that sounds incredible. It kind of does. It kind of does. It has a nice quappy feel to it. Has a nice quappy feel, if you ask me. Um. All right. All right. Fiona, I don't actually think I have a good answer, but I think I'm going to answer the opposite of what you asked, which is, hey, those old games that still hold up, what makes them really good? I think the one thing that I come to again and again and again and again is resonance, where every single thing in the game pointed in the same direction. So, like, and what's a good example of one that's sort of the opposite of this? I don't even need to name a specific title, but I feel like we've all played some AAA game that's like, oh, we have a simple crafting system where you can make stuff. Oh, and you have a base that you can build things at and you can decorate. And here's a light RPG system where you can level things up. And there's crafting materials to upgrade your weapons. And there's a quest log that... And like, the game I'm describing, I don't even have a specific one in my head. But it feels like oh, yep, we have that. Yep, we have that. Yep, we have that. Oh, what do you mean? Oh, I can play it with my friends and it has a friends list. Cool, got it. And there's cosmetics that I can unlock over time. Just check. And whenever there's a game that just picks its small set of things and pushes hard in that one direction, everything is resonating in this same direction, it just... It takes whatever feeling it's trying to elicit, and it just makes it strong and makes it loud. And I think a good modern example of this is Dark Souls, where Dark Souls, I would say, is a game about triumph. It is a game that is trying to put shit in your way that you need to overcome to get a sense of triumph. So the enemies themselves are hard. When you die, they all respawn. When you die, you lose all the souls that you had. There's no maps, you got to memorize things. It's not clear where you need to go. The game doesn't tell you, so you have to figure it out. It's all just putting more burdens on you. If Dark Souls, imagine that if in Dark Souls we just changed a few of those things. When enemies died, they stayed dead forever, and there was an arrow on the ground telling you where the next objective was. Intuitively, you'd go, that would make it feel worse. that would make you feel that's just that's wrong for the game. I don't like that. Whereas, if I think about something like a Skyrim, where it's telling me where my quests are and it's giving me lots of clear direction and the quest log has all the information organized, that actually feels fine in that game because that game to me feels so much like an exploratory, like experiential game. Like, yes, no, here's the objective you can go to, but just go wherever you want. Just have a blast. There's nothing wrong that you can do. It's all about the joy of exploring this world. And so when I think about old games, what are games that really stand out to me and really feel like they're nailing it all these years later? I'll pick some of my favorites. Fallout 1 and 2. Everything in that game pushes in the direction of post-apocalypse. Like everything. The UI are these like retro futuristic buttons that like have this chunk to them. When you're doing your character creation, whenever you can pick up to 2 perks, and the perks give you a huge positive and a huge negative. There's no perk that just gives you a positive. So you have to just choose these like weird, like, I don't know, like these weird, crazy downsides. All the resources are super scarce. So you have to do lots of scavenging and scrounging and careful management of stuff. All the settings and the problems are very post-apocalyptic. It's great. Everything is pointed in that direction. Even the sort of quests that you're supposed to go on and where you go, there's some light guidance, but it is as much guidance as would be possible in the post-apocalypse. It's cool. Or Link to the Past, I love, which is just a great sense of adventure and exploration. So there's tons of guidance and secrets, and then you learn that there's the Dark World, which is a clone of the Light World, which makes you get another reopening of adventure and possibility. Mega Man 2, tight controls, tight gameplay, amazing action platforming in 8 awesome levels culminating in Wily's Castle. It's awesome. I think that like that resonance, where everything's pointing in the same direction. I think another modern one that I like is Path of Exile, where it's like, we're going to make a game about progression. They went fucking hard on progression. Oh, I was so far in this direction. Oh, Fiona, thank you for the gifted 5. Fiona, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Also, Ghosty, I'm gonna go to the Discord. I'm gonna go back to my phone. All right, hold on. I'm opening. I don't know how to use a phone. Let me go back to the old ones. Let's see here. Ooh. Shenanigator says, what's your favorite Christmas/New Year's tradition, and what makes it so special to you? Oh no. Honestly, I'm kind of working on that. I'm working on that a little bit. I think that something about Christmas is, and my birthday, is that often gift receiving makes me feel stressed. Not always, and I have a lovely set of friends that I've spoken to enough about this where they kind of get it. But the big event where I don't know, it feels like there's too much focus on me, which stresses me out in a weird way. I don't know. Yeah, Fiona says, I remember when I came to chat on my birthday the year before last and donated like 20 subs, and Sean got mad at me because I wasn't supposed to be gifting subs at my own birthday. Yeah, no, it's about you. And if it was my birthday and you gifted subs, I'd be a little stressed. And so I think that like a lot of the Christmas stuff that I was hyped about as a kid, like, oh, I'm gonna open presents and I'm gonna get presents, yeah, woo! I much more so like giving presents. That's great. I think that the weirdly, the big thing over Christmas break and during that period of time is really dedicating a lot of time to like just being alone. Just like really having absolutely no schedule or plan or obligation or anything, which I know is kind of a weird sounding thing to say, but I'm not thinking about Christmas Day as much as I am about like the time over winter break, getting, yeah, like some true rest and some really nice rest. But my wife and I are doing little traditions among just the two of us and are building up our little sense of ritual and tradition. And those are really nice, but also I'm gonna kind of keep some of those to myself. Those are a little close to my heart. It's just nice to spend time with your partner over break. That's the best part. Dude, and like literally being like, yo, Merry Christmas. Do you want to watch Avatar The Last Airbender start to finish on the sofa without fucking moving? And having everyone be like, let's fucking go! Like, that's the shit right there. Almighty Babino says, Shawnee, any chance you return to PAX East? Would love to meet you again and show you the Day 9 tattoo in person. When is PAX East? Because the answer is actually, it used to be no, but now it's maybe. But now it's maybe. Oh, yeah, I'm remembering other traditions. I like to watch Die Hard. Love watching Die Hard. That's my favorite Christmas movie. All right, what are some other questions that I'm getting in here? Let's see here. Stein says, can we get a fridge tour? You don't want to see my fridge. Because my fridge is either boring or it needs to be cleaned. All right, I'm scanning through this. Forgive me. All right. 30 more minutes for my last stream of the year. And dude, sus opening, you're so sweet. Says, well, you say press X to snooze because I asked you to ask this later on, and you're doing it. Says, what new game, genre, mechanic, or system has come out recently that you are excited to explore? New mechanics that are interesting to me. I mean, Blueprints has to be the most brilliant assemblage of mechanics that I've never seen anything quite like it. But it also feels incredibly natural and straightforward. And is like the best thing ever. I don't know, I just think that's an absolute masterpiece. It wasn't just a good game, it was new in every way. And it was amazing at it, and it was just so good. Oh my god, that was so killer. But I'm trying to think about a mechanic that's really intrigued me. I got it. Okay. There is... I think... What did Sean Bouchard call these? Notebook adventure games? Or notebook games? Immoral Zombie, you're literally bringing up one of the games I'm going to bring up. Okay, there is this brilliant game called The Root Trees Are Dead. And in The Root Trees Are Dead, and that was released this year, so good. Notebook Mysteries, what do you call it? Ah, that's right. Thank you, Tangerine68. Where in the game, you have access to like a 90s internet terminal. So you can like log into the 90s internet and type things in the search queue. And so, if you've played other adventure games, you might have something like there's a lock on the blue door, so you need to find the blue key to put it in there. It's very clear what the tool is, what the obstacle is, what you're trying to overcome. And in Root Trees Are Dead, there's no specific mechanic or I should say specific object that you're trying to find. Instead, what you're trying to do is you're trying to find clues about this enormous family known as the root tree family. You're trying to figure out the names, the occupations, and and to find a photo of them. And so the way you do that is you just like read an internet article and you see something and you type in the search query and it loads another article. So you kind of feel like an actual detective. There's not like a page with this button in blue, this in blue, and this in blue, and you just click on them and it goes to the next thing. Instead, you like actually begin trudging through the information and you're trying to figure out all these clues that can lead to other things. And then, oh, well, I got a periodical search and there was a magazine that was mentioned in this article. Let me go look up this periodical and then let me look for this particular keyword in that periodical. And you start just like tunneling your way through all this information. And again, your goal is to just fill in a couple blanks. Oh, you wind up, printing off this photo from this album cover, and then you got this reference to an occupation which made it sound like they were a mechanic. Okay, so here they're going to put the mechanic. Okay, and it tells me that I locked it in. Nice. Also, Case of the Golden Idol did this, where in Case of the Golden Idol, you are looking at a large scene and you are collecting words from the scene. Like you see a rake and you click on that, and then rake goes to your inventory. And then you see like a newspaper talking about like a car accident. So you get the word car, you get the word accident. And to solve the puzzle, there is a sentence with blanks, and you have to drag the words that you found into the sentence in order to describe what's happening. But again, the idea of describing the scene that you're seeing and the conclusion of what you think happened in the mystery, it's happening in your brain. You're actually needing to be a detective. And I just freaking love this style of game. I think it's amazing. I almost feel like the recently released Seance of Blake Manor kind of falls into this category a little bit. Oh my God, my nose has been itching this entire time because I can feel these little bits of cat hair that just keep tickling my nose. Yeah, and I really, really love these notebook mystery style games because I adored playing old point-and-click adventure games as a kid. But the problem that I had with old point-and-click adventure games is that you kind of had to apply insane logic to solve things. This was called Moon logic at the time. And there were a limited amount of items in your inventory that you were trying to pair with a limited amount of things in the world. And if you got the right pairing, that would unlock it. Oh, you had to use the sandwich on the locked door, and your character would remove the toothpick from the sandwich, take the mayonnaise and smear it on the toothpick and shove it in to the keyhole to knock a key out from the other side, and the cheese from the sandwich would catch it and you'd pull it under, and you'd be like, I'm sorry, what? How was I supposed to think of that? I don't know, I just tried and mixed and matched till it worked. And I love the feeling of it being well done, but I hated when it was poorly done. And what I think is so interesting about these kinds of games I'm describing, like Case of the Golden Idol, Seance of Blake Manor, Root Trees Are Dead, is that so much of the game is happening in your brain with deductive reasoning. It's not, you have 4 objects and 3 doors, figure out which object to use on which door, which just kind of starts to feel a little bit like brute forcing. They're like unbrute forceable. I shouldn't say unbrute forceable, but they feel like you're discovering it, you're figuring it out. And the way that these games are structured, there's often like 12 different clues that could lead you to that conclusion, which means that the longer you play, you eventually just uncover the clues and you get there. But every time it feels like you figured out the clue and you made the connection, which is just awesome. So that's my favorite recent mechanic that I've seen in more than one game. Because Blueprints I felt like didn't count, because in Blueprints it's like, oh, I like games that are Blueprints. Oh, my pleasure, Sus Opening. It's why I do these. It's why I do these. So these have been some wonderful and earnest questions. Does anyone have any stupid questions that they've been wanting to ask? Ethernet says, before I forget, I just wanted to say thank you. I know you've been busy with the game studio. I really appreciate you still streaming most days of the week. It's been a tough year, and your streams on YouTube VOD's been my go-to comfort watch. Really happy to hear, Ethernet. I'm really, really happy to hear that. Because honestly, like, I really cherish streaming. Like, I don't think that I will ever not want to stream, because I just think it's such a wonderful way to just do, like, focused bonding about things that I really love and that I really enjoy. Oh, Edub says, can you think of any prequels that are better than the original? Certainly the first Star Wars movie. Phantom Menace is so much better than Star Wars 4, 5, 6. Jar Jar Binks is my guy. Fucking love Jar Jar, man. I can't make out a word that fucking guy is saying, but his ears are like doing this shit, and I'm laughing because I love comic relief. Oh, it's so good. And they did pod racing. I played a video game that was about pod racing. I love movies that are about video games. Has there ever been a prequel that's better than the original? Ever? I can't even think. I don't even know what a because anytime a prequel is announced, I just go, oh, well, I'm not watching it. You need to give me something new. Give me a new thing, please. We're gonna make a sequel to the prequel, which is we're gonna call it a requel. Like, dude, no, I'm out. So for Star Wars, I have watched 4 and 5. I haven't seen 6. I've not seen anything beyond 6 at all. I haven't even seen like footage from it. I saw Phantom Menace when I was a kid. I don't remember anything about it. I'm pretty sure I saw Return of the Jedi when I was a kid. Don't remember anything about it. I didn't watch the second Star Wars. I watched the third one in theaters, and I thought that was pretty tight. There it is. Better Call Saul was good, but I didn't finish Breaking Bad because I also didn't finish Better Call Saul because this is just a bunch of people that are suffering, and I'm not into that. Oh. Spaniard, I have nothing to announce at this time regarding merch because we had a vendor, and that vendor, I think, either shut down or went bankrupt or just went, we don't want to sell your shit anymore. It was one of those things. Greater Tamarack. Oh, now this is a dumb question. I'm like fucking ready to go into that shit. By the way, feel free to ask non-dumb questions. There's been a lot of really reasonable ones that have been getting asked as well. So what is a snack that is a guilty pleasure that often accidentally ends up in your grocery cart? Baby, it's Cheetos. Oh, I love Cheetos. Oh my God. Fracture Falcon, I'm going to come to your question next. Oh, my fingers get all orange and then I lick my fingers. And then I put my fingers back in the bag, which now means you're going to get even more orange stuff. And I'm crunchy or puffs? Crunchy all the way. Puffs are a garbage food. Now, I know that this is in the umbrella of garbage food, but this is the subcategory of garbage food. I don't need that puffing. Like, what? You know what? Why don't I just spray cheese into my mouth while inhaling? Why not do that, huh? It's the crunchy that are so good. Yeah, that extra spicy nacho cheesy Cheetos. Dude, I love that shit. Now, anytime I buy a bag of Cheetos, I sit down and I eat the whole bag. I never intend to eat the whole bag. I'm just telling you as a piece of observable data that I eat the whole bag. And the way I feel afterwards is awful. I feel awful for about 48 hours. Like, I'm lying in bed and like my lips are cracking because there's too much salt. I'm like coughing and trying to sleep, but I'm like so thirsty. And I get up and I like drink a lot of water and I lie back down. My thirst hasn't changed at all. I'm just so thirsty. So then I like keep drinking more water. I was like, I need the thirst to go away. I'm so tired. Just let me sleep. But I can't because my body is nothing but salt and the color orange. And then at some point, I wake up and I'm like, oh God, how long have I been asleep? Oh God, I drank too much water. I feel sick. And I take my phone, I look, and I've been asleep for 21 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I should have had that whole fucking bag of Cheetos. And I put it, and it's just a long night of fever dreams, suffering. And every time I burp, it tastes like Cheetos again. And my brain goes, it's actually okay. That tastes kind of nice. And about 4 seconds later, I'm like, oh, wait, no, it doesn't. I feel horrible. And then what happens is I wake up the next day and my wife says, how'd you sleep? And I was like, oh, it was horrible. I shouldn't have had those Cheetos. I'm never buying Cheetos again. So yeah, I wind up buying a lot of Cheetos. A lot of Cheetos in my life. Nah, I don't eat that often. I might go through like 6 bags a year. 6 bags a year. I think that might be like my Cheetos quota. If I have a really bad day, and it's like a Friday, I'm going to have that Cheeto bag, baby. That's what I'm talking about. How long that statement lasts? It often lasts for up to a few weeks. What was a question for? Oh my God, Blue Sparks! Oh my God, Blue Sparks! If I gifted 10, thank you, Blue Sparks. My God, I was in such an impassioned description of my Cheeto mania that I didn't even see that. Oh, thank you. Are you a fellow Cheetos enjoyer? Fresher Falcon says, Danon, have you heard about the recent upsurge in unionization of the game industry? What do you think about the potential of collective action to transform the game industry? So I actually wanted to ask, has there been an uptick? And when I say this, like, I see articles written, but there's a big difference between an article being written about this with like a headline about a thing, and then like, is it actually meaningfully happening? So that's one question I'm going to set over here. Because yeah, several Microsoft studios are unionized now. So I observe that several Microsoft studios are unionized. Sure, that's like one thing. But like, is that actually an overall trend in the industry? I mean, again, I do see it. And this is just me saying I don't know the data. I really don't. Because like, as an example, if there had been a bunch of pre-existing unions that were like slowly dissolving and not doing well, and then these Microsoft studios unionized, is that like overall the trend line is down, but there's a recent surge? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, this is... But yes, from zero to existent. Has there really not been? I don't know. Okay, so first of all, part one of my answer, Fracture Falcon, is this is an area that I just don't know that much about. As in, like, I have not tracked these kinds of trends. And I think that, like, one of the things that I think is observably true is that there do exist really successful studios that make a lot of money. And I believe it's completely reasonable for the employees of that studio to go, hey, I should get some of that. Games are very project-based. You know, like, there do exist some games like World of Warcraft or League of Legends that have been around for a really long time. And those studios, you know, it can be much like a job where I work at Blizzard and I do this on WoW, and I have for 10 years. But I think that more often there is a studio that forms that releases a title, it does well, they make a second title, it doesn't do well, and it shuts down. And I think that that's quite tricky. That's like a very tricky space. I know that the film industry functions with a lot of unions, like a lot. But I also know that a lot of the it's weird. I know more about unions in film than I do with respect to games because, you know, with film stuff, having worked as talent on some, you know, traditional projects and done a small amount of like production work, you know, for like live event stuff. It's very easy for the creators to just be. I mean, this is maybe a slightly over the top word, but to be literally abusive and exploitative to their workers. Really simple example. I show up to a set. They say, Sean, your call time's at 9, and we're going to be filming from 9 to 6. So we're going to do 9 to noon. There's going to be a lunch break, and then 1 to 6. This has happened to me before, where I get to a shoot, and they're late, so we don't start until 11 or 12. And then it's taking longer. So suddenly it's 9 p.m. and I've been there for 12 hours and they're like, all right, it looks like we're just going to need to plow through, you know. Looks like we're going to need to go till 1 or 2 in the morning because this is the only day we have to get this shot. And I mean, this has happened to me where I kind of feel stuck, where I'm like, all right, well, I guess I just have to sacrifice my literal physical health and just work till 2 in the morning, being super high energy. Like, imagine the energy level that I have had for the last 2 hours and 45 minutes. Imagine it twice that with no breaks. You're just constantly high energy, need to be on, need to be on, need to be on. It's exhausting. And then I go to bed at 2 a.m. and they're like, Sean, I'm so sorry, but call time is 9 a.m. tomorrow. And don't worry, we'll be done at 6 for sure. And the same thing happens the second day in a row. I've literally done events that were just, it was horrible. I mean, like, I don't even know how I didn't just like fucking pass out. I would blow out my voice. I would ruin my next week or two just recovering. And so, you know, I know that for films, a lot of what unions do is make sure that this short-term thing actually has enough thoughtful consideration so that people can be human beings. Like that actually makes sense to me. Especially when, oh, we're going to do a shoot for this thing. It's going to be 2 weeks in this location. Like it's an actually knowable small thing. It's an actually knowable small enough to wrap your head around thing. And I think that what's awesome too is that a lot of what my experience has been with film is that no one on set's fucking lazy, man. Like everyone on set shows up and they're there and they're hammering through and they're working and they're going hard because, dude, this talent, Day 9, he literally, after 12 hours, he has to be sent home. And if he doesn't, then the entire shoot gets shut down. Or like this crew can only be on for 12 hours. That's all that they've agreed to. And the only way they're allowed to work for 12 hours is if they get lunch and dinner catered there. It's the only way that it can even happen. So people are like on point and organized. I think there's a lot of benefit to this idea of like, look, if you're treating us properly, we'll work our asses off. It's just that with the nature of games, it's weird because it's not short like a film shoot, but it's also not like, oh, I'm a machinist and this is just my profession for the next 25 years. So like, Freitar, I'm curious what you mean by, I mean, it's fine. People should be paid for the contracted time / amount schedule. Yeah. And here, the thing that I have firsthand encountered is you can get a contract signed that says Sean will only be on set from 9 to 6. And then the very second you get there, you realize it's not going to end at 6. What do you do? It's a very real situation. And you could say, fuck you, I'm out. And I have done that at times. But guess what? All the time that I set aside for this thing, it's now not going to happen. And getting paid for a thing is one thing. But there's also like, oh, if I don't literally kill myself, the work that I'm putting into this, nothing will come out of it. And as much as people love to say, don't pay me an exposure, well, if I'm committing my time to something, the exposure that I get from it is something that I care about. Chair Fire says, sounds like sunk cost fallacy, honestly. It's not a fallacy, though. Because here's an example. Suppose that, because in this line of work with streaming, this is where I'm deviating from games and just talking more about traditional film shoots or event work or something like this. Suppose that I have spent 2 weeks of time away from this stream to do work on a project that was going south. If I push these are options. I'm not just going to describe options. Option A is I say I'm walking and the event just doesn't happen. So nothing occurs. Therefore, I get no money. There was no product that came out the other side, and that's it. or I could push really hard and it might, something will come out the other side and I'll get paid. And that thing that comes out the other side is something that other people can wind up seeing that gives me a potential future chance to also get hired. And so like that's a difficult choice to be in. Especially like early on in my career where if I wasn't working consistently, I wouldn't be able to pay rent. And so this is, again, I think one of the values of, at least in films, how some of the unions function, where once everything's signed, everyone knows that if you're going to work, that work is going to happen and it's going to actually function. But yeah, I think that what's weird to me, Fracture Falcon, is that in games, it's the project nature of like the studio has one project coming out and it's come out and it's not really doing very well. The company isn't going to sink, company isn't blowing up. It's somewhere in the middle, and then the next project comes out and it's not good enough and they shut down. Boom, done. It's once that's done, that's done. And so, I don't know. I've said a whole lot to say I'm not sure, but I think it is interesting. I think it is very interesting. But I think, like, fundamentally, if a game is killing it, and these people help make the game great, doesn't it make sense to pay these great people who did great things and let them share in the success? Doesn't that make sense? I think that makes sense. Or you can say, we did a great job, you amazing people. You're all fired. All right. I'm sure more people will want to come work for me now. Oh, my God. Sornox Day 9 spent years providing me with entertainment and life advice, and I just want to say thank you. I love when you have an analytical take on things when answering others. I also apply in my own life. My question to you, was there a time where you noticed significant growth, like oh, look how far I've come moment? One. And it's the weirdest feeling. It's the weirdest feeling ever. In so many ways, I feel the same emotional loops coming up again and again and again and again. If I was working really, really, really hard on a strategy in StarCraft, and then it started to work, yeah, that joy is extremely similar to working super hard on a very large scale project. Like the stakes are way different, but the feeling's the same, right? But here is the weird thing that's hit me, which is there are events that have occurred that I know younger Sean would lose his mind and be so wrought out and have a meltdown. Or I would hold it together to get through the tough situation and then have a meltdown. And my God, last 6-7 years, there's been a number of times where something awful and stressful happened, and I wasn't melting down. I was okay. I wasn't happy. I felt sadness, but I also felt like I was holding it together. And I don't know, in a weird way, it was kind of like in the horror movies where like the high strings are going like, and you're like, oh God, when's the monster going to pop out? When's the monster going to pop out? Oh God. And then it just like doesn't. And then it's like 20 minutes have gone by and you're like, I don't think there's a monster, but I've watched a lot of horror movies and I feel like the bad thing's supposed to happen. Like, dude, that's insane. Oh my God. Yeah, so I don't know. I am pleased to have been more emotionally robust. Yeah. Oh yeah. Exigent says, haha, you're good. I'm sure he's danced his way around more contentious topics. I don't know. I don't ever really feel a need to dance around shit. And I just don't think that's that contentious of a topic either. I'm happy to address generally contentious topics at times. I guess I should caveat this. We tend to have a no major current events talk in this chat. And sometimes that's political or world events. Other times, like when there was the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial and people were coming in talking about it, I was like, this is a place where we want to kind of get away from all that stuff in the world. But like, if there's a particularly stressful topic or difficult topic, I mean, we're more than happy to talk about that. I don't have any concern or issue about these sorts of things. I think, frankly, for instance, with Fracture Falcon, the concern I have is I just don't have enough expertise or conclusions on the subject matter to necessarily give a complete and robust, satisfying final answer, But also there's a lot of things in life that don't have nice, clean, neat, satisfying answers. And I'm very comfortable holding that ambiguous space in a lot of ways. I'm the Agnes versus Sean, legitimately changed the course of my life. Oh, Danny Sore. Just feeling seen as a young nerd and slight nudges towards being a better person added a lot of really small moments and ideas that I do really think significantly contributed to what I consider an awesome life. Really formative nerd for me in the early years, no question, just heart. Oh. To you, Danny Sore. It's been wonderful to see you over so many years, a familiar face, again and again and again and again. Danny Sore, cheers to you. Hope you have an awesome holiday, and I want to see you again in the future. And just keep me posted on how life's going, Danny Sore. I want to know, man. Dude, this Kong Z Kids, as your career has grown and changed, I remember when your identity was intertwined with StarCraft. How would you describe your current identity? That was a really hard thing for me to go through, to try to understand who I was. Because, I mean, like, for me, StarCraft was more than a satisfying escape. It was like something that was baked into my identity. Because I was good at this thing, it made me feel like I had worth as a human being. When I would go on losing streaks, it would therefore make me feel like I didn't have worth as a human being. And I really enjoyed doing the commentary and doing hosting and doing the day and night days. Like, I really enjoyed those. But when I wanted to do other things, this is going to sound way over dramatic, but like, I don't know. It felt like saying goodbye to a loved one or like a pet, like goodbye forever, and it's like, well, Sean, you don't have to make that decision. You don't have to say goodbye forever, but like, I don't know. That's like how it emotionally felt. And in a weird way, when I started doing like non-StarCraft streams or focusing on development of games rather than streaming of games, I felt like I was betraying myself, which is such a weird thing to say. But I mean, I was so wrapped up in, or my identity was so tied to that, that a major topic of therapy for me for years was trying to understand what having a sense of grounding is. Like grounding in myself, not, I'm going to attach myself to that thing over there, and if that thing is going well, then I'm okay, but if that thing's going poorly, I'm not okay. Like, how do I have me be okay? And then if this thing goes great, amazing. And if it goes poorly, that's okay. I'm okay. And I'm a lot more just even as a person. I used to be... Oh, it's 7:02. My alarm went off to do the cat litter after the show. I don't really think of myself as, I was a StarCraft player and now I'm a game developer, or like this to that. I used to define myself in terms of the external things, and now I sort of define myself more internally. More of things like, I'm proud of my discipline. I like the fact that I'm a disciplined person who just says, all right, I'm not working out regularly and I stay up late. Time to get up at 6 a.m. and just make myself fucking do this. I like that. I like that feeling when there is a problem that someone says, oh, Sean, I'm a little worried that maybe you're biting off more than you can chew. And I go, I bet you think I can't get that shit done, and trying to push and get through that. And I'm describing those in the context of like me doing a thing. And that's about my satisfaction that I get out of that. And it can be about things that don't matter. Like, oh, Sean, you have a meeting to get to in 10 minutes. There's no way you have time to do the dishes. I'm like, oh, you think I can't get the dishes done? I like do the dishes and I'm like, woo, let's go. And I get a huge sense of joy out of that. And I've tried to work really hard to consciously go, I'm enjoying this process that is about me and myself versus that external thing. There are external things that bring me joy all the time. I'm about to hang out with Britt. She is outside of me. It's going to be fucking amazing. But like, you know, I'm not in a situation where it's like if Britt doesn't want to hang out tonight, I'm not okay. Or if I was back in StarCraft days, where if it was a Friday night and I started a ladder session, was losing, well, I'd go to bed and not be okay. This is, oh my God, Plain Tim. We are going to end on this note about pears. We are going to end on this note about pears. This is so good. This is so good. We're going to end on this. Just Plain Tim says, Sean, goddammit, you are absolutely right. Pears are simply the superior fruit over apples. I can deny it no more. Thank you, Sean, for having the courage to say it aloud. Merry holidays. Dude, this is one of my, this might actually be my favorite culinary experience of the year because it was insane. So, a few weeks ago, Britt gets me this box of deluxe pears. And we put it in the fridge. And just waited until they were ripe. Because if you put it in the fridge, it just ripens more slowly. So I'd go in there and I'd just kind of poke. Okay, it's not ready. Go a bit, poke. Hey, it's starting to feel ready. I'm going to wait a little bit. Then I get distracted for 2 days and forget that there's pears up there in the fridge. Open it up and I went, okay, I think it's time to eat one of those pears. And I took this pear out. And when I bit into this pear, I have never had such a delicious bite of fruit in my life. It was incredibly sweet, but nowhere close to that sort of sickly sweet of way too much sugar and frosting, you know. It was like the texture, there's that kind of graininess that can be in pears that can be kind of annoying. I like a little bit of that graininess, but this was just like, it was like the essence of a pear. Like, I didn't even need my teeth. I just pushed my tongue against the roof of my mouth and it just became pear flavor. And it was so juicy. It was so, oh my God. You know how, like, if you bite into an apple that's nowhere close to ripe, it's like really crunchy and you gotta like gnash it up. Oh my God. Biting into this pear, it was just like my mouth just became, just like covered in like pear juice. Oh, it was so good. And I remember just standing in the kitchen with like my eyes closed, just eating this pear. And occasionally like opening my eyes and being like, I'm going to eat this side now. And like biting into that pear again. Oh my God, I can still taste this pear. And when it was done, I texted my wife and I said, I just ate one of the pears. It's maybe one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. You need to come and you need to have one of the pears. And then like, she got home. And I got the other pear. I was like, okay, are you ready? Like, no one gets this excited about fruit. Like, this is an important moment in my life, was this pear. And I was just like, all right, here you go. And she's like, all right. And I washed it off, gave it to her. And she bit into it. And she was just like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah, isn't that great? And she's like, oh my God. She started eating this pear. And then I was like, are you going to have the rest of that pear? Because, like, you've tasted it. You know that I'm not lying, right? But, like, are you going to finish that pear? And she was like, I got him for you, Sean. Here's your pear. And I was like, yay! She got two bites. She got 2 bites of the pear. But that was amazing. And I really think that it reminded me of how I think I underappreciate in cooking just how good a good ingredient is. Like, it's not that this pear was like well seasoned or it had like was hollowed out and filled with honey and pine nuts or something, you know. It wasn't cooked or heated. I literally just straight out of the fridge, nice and right, bit into it. Oh. Oh. Why did I have headphones in this whole time? There's been no audio playing at all. There's been none. What was I thinking? Oh. May you all have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you get nice rest. I am not going to be doing any work for the next 2 weeks. And then the week of January 5th and the week of January 12th, I am going to be doing a bunch of traveling for work. I will be back with the first show of the year on the 19th. And then the week after that, I have one more work trip. And then in February, I'm back for the year of RTS. And in the year of RTS, we absolutely will sneak in other games here and there. It'll just be the main thing. If any of you are interested in having me address something that I didn't quite get the chance to ask in the AMA, anytime I'm live, feel free to pop in, post a question. If I don't catch it, the wonderful mods here have an incredibly diligent habit of taking note and pinging me when they see that I'm free. 2025, probably the top 1 year of my life so far. Top one. Probably my favorite year that I have ever been alive. It was a good year. But 2026 is right around the corner, huh? Who knows? Maybe we'll keep the streak going. At the very least, I'm thinking top 2. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Mwah to all of you. Infinite love forever. Take care.